Hello there, good morning. Welcome to News Morning on Newday. I am Christabel Success Treve. The headlines now. Deputy Attorney General rejects NPP's political persecution claims after party's Ashanti Regional Chairman was handed 20 years in prison over Galamsey-related charges. Also in this bulletin, police CID operations rescue 33 victims, disrupt cybercrime networks, and uncover suspected illegal firearms supply network. Also in this bulletin, African Union calls on member states to allocate at least 15% of national budgets to health. And much later, ahead of the mid-year budget review, Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors calls on government to scrap subsidies on premixed fuel. We go with the details now. Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Ramsay has rejected claims by the opposition NPP that the state is politically prosecuting the party's Ashanti Regional Chair, Bernard Entry-Busiako, also known as Chairman Wontumi. Wontumi was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison over Galamsey-related charges.
The evidence that we have, the pieces of evidence that we have, which the judge relied on, came from their defense. Defense witnesses, the accused person's own comments, his own witness statement, his own police statement. Those were the materials that formed the basis for the conclusion of the judgment. So it will be it is shocking to me, but that they would say is political persecution. But I understand what we do. This is politics in a way. I mean, what they are doing is politics, and they issued that statement, or they had a press conference when they have not even seen, they had not seen the judgment. So do you expect them, now that they've seen the judgment, they will go back and say what we said was wrong? They would never do that. They would rather double down and say things. But so far, I don't think anyone has pointed to any aspect of the judgment that they believe strongly that is so erroneous.
The Deputy Attorney General also debunked assertions that Chairman Wontumi was not legally represented on the day the judge ruled to jail him.
A huge misunderstanding of the law. If that is really their position, then they have really a great misapprehension of what the law says, and probably of what actually happened in court. Lawyer wrote a letter that I won't be available. At the time he said he won't be available, he has filed a motion, and he has filed all the necessary processes that have to be filed. And then on the day, he sends his colleague lawyers from his firm to hold his brief. And the colleague lawyers came to court. So it wasn't as if Wontumi was sentenced in the absence of a lawyer. He had, I think there were about 4 lawyers for him from Atachen's firm. So unless you are saying that without Lawyer Atachan, all the members in the firm are not proper lawyers to represent, but as far as we know, they are also lawyers. And there's no rule of law which says that unless the person who filed the motion comes to move it, the court cannot decide. Otherwise, imagine, let's look at the other side. If that were the rule, that only the lawyer who filed the motion or the lawyer is the only person who can get a case for it, it would be simple. I will commit a crime, I'll hire a lawyer and tell the lawyer to travel anytime there will be a decision, and the court would have to wait for him. That is the other. So I don't think they understand this. What they are saying doesn't exhibit a serious understanding of the law, and or they don't understand what happened in court. One of the two is what that opinion or that conclusion is suffering from.
Let's stay a bit longer on this topic because a senior political and history lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, Professor Samuel Edujemfi, says Wontumi's incarceration will not significantly affect the new patriotic party in the Ashanti region. He says it will rather provide the party with an opportunity to properly reorganize themselves.
Wontumi, a name which has dominated the opposition NPP's politics. In the last 8 years of the previous administration, his influence in the NPP intra-political affairs earned him the name the governor.
Ashanti region is the heart of the party, of MPP party.
A very controversial politician who is also loved by a section of his party supporters. He was active on the front line in the lead-up to the 2024 election for his party, the NPP. He has also been a thorn on his own party members sometimes.
He to me is just a small boy. We're a small boy.
Beyond the good, the bad, and the ugly, how will his incarceration affect the NPP politics in the Ashanti region?
This incarceration raises two real political questions. Would the enemies or those who dislike the politics of the MPP chairman, right, be excited around this time that they would have the opportunity to effect certain things in his absence? I think that there are critical moments ahead of the MPP, but the absence of one to me may be a blessing or better still a curse for the MPP going forward.
Looking at his influence, and you know, when it comes to the party, he has a role in Ashanti and also the national level. When it comes to Ashanti, he is a force. We want to say he's a force because of his political experience or political background. He has a number of people, he has a lot of followers.
Beyond his nemesis, he will be missed in the country's political discourse.
All the fire boys, you know, they are knowledgeable. You know, they are tanker.
We turn our attention to health because Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando has urged African countries to take greater responsibility for funding their own health systems, saying the continent cannot continue to rely on external support. He made the calls as African leaders meet in Accra for the African Union's Extraordinary Assembly.
Africa is racing against time to meet its 2030 health targets. At the extraordinary session of the African Union Assembly in Accra, African leaders are reviewing the continent's progress in ending AIDS, reducing preventable maternal deaths, and strengthening health systems amid new and emerging health threats. Opening the summit, Ghana's Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando acknowledged Africa's progress, noting that AIDS-related deaths have fallen by 65% across the continent.
We must strengthen Africa's health sovereignty. Our continent continues to consume medicines, vaccines, and health technologies that are overwhelmingly produced elsewhere. The lessons of recent global crisis remain fresh in our minds. The next emergency must never again find Africa waiting at the back of the queue. Why does Ghana believe these ambitions are achievable? It is not because we have all the answers, nor do we present ourselves as a finished model. We continue to confront our own challenges, including maternal mortality levels, that remind us every day that there is still much work to be done. But we have chosen to act.
The call comes as an Ebola outbreak is ongoing in the Democratic Republic of Congo, with experts warning that the death toll could surpass 1,000 before the summit concludes. The Africa CDC says weak surveillance, insecurity, and funding shortages continue to hamper the response. The summit also highlighted the continent's maternal health crisis. Sub-Saharan Africa still accounts for nearly 70% of global maternal deaths. Delegates say declining donor support makes domestic investment more urgent than ever. The African Union is urging member states to allocate at least 15% of national budgets to health, strengthen pharmaceutical manufacturing, and invest in research and digital health systems. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has directed MPs to immediately stop misusing police escorts and sirens, warning against any conduct that violates road safety regulations. The Speaker noted that the indiscriminate installation and use of sirens undermine public confidence in lawful authority and reduce the effectiveness of emergency and security services that rely on priority access to respond to critical situations.
The office of the Speaker has received a communication from the Honorable Minister for the Interior conveying a directive on the use of police resources, particularly police escort services, and the installation and use of sirens on vehicles. The communication requests that the directive be brought to the attention of honorable members of parliament and the parliamentary service. Honorable members, according to the communication, Cabinet, in compliance with existing law, has requested, among other things, that no person shall install or use a siren on any official or private vehicle without the prior written authorization of the minister responsible for the interior. Similarly, no person is to utilize police resources, particularly police escort services, without the requisite written authorization of the Minister for the Interior or the Inspector General of Police acting on behalf of the Minister. The communication further indicates that the Ghana Police Service has been directed to enforce the directive, including the removal and seizure of unauthorized sirens, the discontinuance of unauthorized police escort services, and the institution of appropriate legal action where necessary. The indiscriminate installation and use of sirens undermines road safety, weakens public confidence in lawful authority, and diminishes the effectiveness of emergency and security services whose operations genuinely require priority access.
The Ghana Police Service has rescued 33 victims in 3 intelligence-led operations targeting suspected human trafficking and cybercrime networks in parts of Greater Accra. Some of the victims, aged between 15 and 24, were allegedly brought into Ghana under false pretenses and forced to engage in cyber-enabled fraud.
The operations were conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department and the Ghana Police Service. Between July 3 and July 15, they followed intelligence gathered on suspected trafficking networks using residential apartments as bases for cyber fraud, as well as the illegal supply of weapons to individuals across the country. Commissioner of Police Lydia Yako-Donko is Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service. The first operation was carried out at Matayoko on July 3. 10 suspects were arrested from an apartment believed by police to have been used as a base for internet fraud.
They were arrested at an apartment suspected to be used as an operational base for the activities. Preliminary investigations established that Collins Francis Olayi Ojo is the coordinator and leader of the group. He is accused of facilitating the movement of 9 Nigerian nationals from Nigeria to Ghana by road and subjecting them to cyber-enabled fraudulent activities under his direction.
Days later, police moved into another suspected cybercrime base at Fafa community and later the Kwabenya community. 16 people were arrested, while laptops and mobile phones recovered have been secured for digital forensic examination. Another suspect, identified as only Jerry, remains at large.
The Tema Regional Police Intelligence Directorate, through an intelligence-led operation, arrested 11 suspects for cybercrime activities at Fafa community. A search at the premises led to the recovery of 14 laptop computers with accessories and 12 smart mobile phones, all suspected to have been used in the commission of cybercrime-related offenses. Subsequent investigations revealed that suspects Godstime Terry, age 34, and Wilson Makuo, age 21, who were initially identified as victims, were in fact key coordinators of the syndicate. A third suspect, identified only as Jerry, who allegedly played a key role in trafficking the victims into Ghana, remains at large. Still on human trafficking, The Ghana Police Service has arrested 5 suspects for human trafficking and cyber-enabled criminal activities at Kwabenya. 52 assaulted mobile phones and several wireless internet devices believed to have been used in the commission of cybercrime offenses were recovered and secured for forensic examination. A search of the 3-bedroom apartment revealed 1 bedroom locked. Inside the room, police found 22 young Nigerian nationals.
Away from the cybercrime operations, the CID says it has also disrupted a suspected illegal firearms supply network in the Ashanti region.
The Ghana Police Service has arrested 2 suspects in connection with the illegal trading of arms and ammunition in the Ashanti region, supplying different types of weapons to various buyers, including criminal elements. The team arrested the first suspect, Christopher Kupini, age 63. Further investigations led to the arrest of suspect Kwabna Tewia, age 56. A search conducted on him led to the recovery of the following weapons and ammunition: 1 Malik pistol, 1 Walter PK 380 pistol with 1 magazine, 1 Smith & Wesson pistol with 1 magazine, 1 Stoger STR series pistol with 1 magazine, 1 Taurus G2C pistol loaded with 5 rounds of live 9mm ammunition, 3 additional pistol magazines, 100 rounds of live 9mm ammunition, and 20 rounds of .380 auto PPU live ammunition. During interrogation, suspect Kwabna Tewia admitted the offense and disclosed that despite having no license to trade in arms and ammunition, he had been engaged in the business for the past 10 years.
Illegal miners continue to operate around the Agenda 111 hospital project site at Adanse Asukwa in the Ashanti region, despite government's effort to reclaim degraded land. 1 person has been arrested. William Evans Inkum has filed this report.
Encroachments of the Agenda 111 hospital projects in Adanse Asukwa by illegal miners raised serious public concerns. Nonetheless, the Ashanti Regional Security Council moved in swiftly to reclaim the degraded land while perpetrators remained at large. Tuesday's visit by the RECSEC was to assess the level of work. Behind the heaped sand, illegal miners operate with impunity.
Illegal miners operating in this particular enclave, they appears to be working quite smart. They hide behind the heaped sand and mine illegally. We just came to one of their concessions, and as you can see, they have everything here, their food and everything.
They fled upon sighting the security team.
As you can attest with me, whilst we are here, we've just picked some of the workers or some of the boys who are still around trying to work on the land to the RCC, and heavily degraded some few weeks ago, and now given a second chance. So that is part of the fight for getting our lands back. And I can assure you, we are going to take them on, especially the illegal miners who did that wrong in this place.
The owner of the site was later identified as Yusuf Ibrahim. His identity was revealed following the arrest of one of his operators. The Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council is currently working with some experts to restore the degraded land.
What we are doing, we call it the logis model. It is covering the pit, that's the backfilling, and then we employ science-based processes to now bring the land back to life.
Ahead of the mid-year budget review, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors is calling for the government to scrap subsidies on premix fuel. Speaking to the media, the Chamber's Chief Executive, Dr. Patrick Ofori, said funds currently allocated to the subsidy should instead be redirected towards infrastructure development in the affected communities.
Our expectation is that at least a product like premise, government should stop subsidizing. Why give what you don't have? And I don't think it's fair to our brothers in the sector. Allow them to have access to it and then escrow the subsidy amount and use it to develop infrastructure in those communities. If we really want dedicated infrastructure, like we had the HIPIC initiative, HIPIC funds projects in there, I think we can say that the subsidy going to premise, we are using it to build schools, potable water within the fishing community or the community that predominantly use the premise. We all know the premise gets into wrong hands, and then people who act as interface, there are a series of diversions that goes with it. And I think it's only fair that we give that priority, we take that burden off government so that we can actually use the money for proper investment within there.
That's all the time we have here on News Morning. For more stories and updates, don't forget to check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. The rest of the New Day team are on standby. Don't go away.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the number.
So much that they don't even talk about, you know. And sometimes you pray, you push, you do all that you can, and the situation just seems to stay the same. And that can be very, very discouraging. But that is also an indication that most often than not, when you're very close to your breakthrough, that's when you feel the most dejected. That's when you feel the most discouraged. Yeah. That's when it feels like everything is stone rock hard, still in the same place, stagnant. And that's when, if you give up, you would not see the end result of what it is you've been trusting God for, or what it is that you are believing God for. So by all means, whatever it is, including myself this morning, stay strong. Do not give up. If you give up, you will not see the end of what it is that you are believing God for. Stay strong, because you're very, very close to that miracle.
You know, 2 or 3 months ago, I saw a post, it was trending on X, give up and see.
Give up and see.
Yeah.
Give up and see. If you give up, that will be it. So we do hope that you do not give up. And we're also grateful to you for choosing us one more time to spend your morning with us. We'll try and touch base with the Meteorological Agency this morning, because there are pockets of rains in the city this morning. We are not really sure about other parts of the country, but it's raining already. But we are very thankful to God that after June 29th, we haven't had any heavy rain, even though it was predicted by the Meteorological Agency that we may have more rains. Of course, many people are saying that those predictions were not apt. No, that's not what it means. I believe that they were apt, and as a spiritual person, I just believe that God just had mercy on our dear country, Ghana. Because imagine if we had a second or third episode of June 29th. I am not sure how we would have survived. But be careful out there. It's raining. You may want to carry your umbrellas and your raincoats. If you do people still carry raincoats?
Yeah, I've seen a few. Especially those who work, you know, like it's their job to be on the street.
Right.
They
still wear raincoats,
the traffic wardens and all of them.
Yeah.
Yes, I see them. And especially the police at night, when you close late and the weather is like that.
You see them wearing
their raincoats. In it, still doing their job in the middle of the road. Thank you very much for all you do in the night. I always appreciate them ever more when I'm driving in the night and I see them checking your lights to see whether you're okay and all of that.
Anyway, welcome to TV3 Newday. Our WhatsApp line is very active. You can send us your messages. Yesterday, we read many of them. Today, we will do same. We'll read as many as possible. A lot of things flying out in the news. Chairman Wontumi is still very much trending, and yesterday from nowhere, Kedo Fureta had to join the trend.
Yes.
And
it's a whole lot between the government of Ghana and the law enforcement or immigration enforcement agencies in America. And the OSP has been speaking and says that it's taking notes of a transcript hearing purportedly emanating from an immigration court in the United States involving Mr. Kenneth Nana Ofori-Atta, which is being circulated by some media houses, suggesting that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta has not been credibly charged in Ghana or credibly shown to have engaged in any wrongdoing in Ghana. Yesterday, I was listening to Martin Kwebu, who was saying that what's the part of that immigration's lawyer in the courts of arbitration here in Ghana?
And that was the point the special prosecutor made in that statement issued earlier yesterday.
Right. I mean, I don't know why they are meddling in our affairs here. You want to grant the person permanent residency, just go ahead and do that over there, whilst the courts in Ghana would also do what they have to do. But of course, this morning, for the big issue, we'll be going through all of that, as well as other issues. National service is also trending. Yes. If you haven't heard, well, there have been some 60 Ghana cedi deductions from their 715 Ghana cedi allowance for capacity building. And the argument is that they were not consulted. The personnel were not consulted before those deductions were done. As we speak, the management and the board has directed that the deductions be suspended until further notice. But the other question is, would the deductions that have taken place already be refunded back to the personnel or not? And if it would, when is it going to take place? This morning, we'll get into all of that. Already 750, they've complained, is woefully inadequate. I mean, in today's Ghana, 750 for the whole month. I mean,
that's not a lot of money.
That's not a lot of money at all. And to have 60 cedi of it being deducted,
Yeah, and yesterday, investigative journalist Manas Azari was heavily on this, and he wrote a whole long piece. After that, he followed with other short pieces. In fact, I'll read one of the short pieces he wrote. He said that he said, next, the National Service Authority must ensure that the deductions are returned to the personnel. If people want to make money, they should work for it and not extort from the vulnerable. And so, I mean, if you check his page, particularly on Facebook, he was just posting and, giving his thoughts on it and how moving forward there should be proper, consultations and proper conversations around it before they go ahead with it. So, yes, they are saying that give them back their monies. Yes, because it's already not
Bring back the 60 Ghana.
Yeah, so I think that we would want to get your thoughts on it when we cross over for this morning's segment and moving forward, how you think the National Service Secretariat can make extra money. I think already, that's just my opinion, they're doing well with the farms. I've seen they're selling the chicken and
so
I actually patronize them.
So Fuseni Donko was very charitable enough to have brought us crates of eggs and some chicken during the Christmas period. And he asked that we sample it and let him know exactly how we feel. And I sampled the eggs, and it's about the most organic eggs I've ever had in this country.
And ever since, I actually buy from them. I buy the chicken, I buy my eggs from them because I just felt the taste was very different.
Right. So those of you who love poultry products, you may want to be buying from the Ghana National Service farms. Very, very organic. And of course, they are serving the country. It is for all of us. They are farming to feed all of us. So please patronize as well. And if you can hear his voice in the background, Roland is just dancing around, wiping the rainwater on his body and getting ready to join us. And he's just walking on set like that. I know he will just disrupt everything we'll do this morning.
Hi, Roland.
Roland
Azoli Walker.
Will not be me. It's drizzling.
I know.
Then there's a car that got bent.
No.
It's the rain.
Okay.
So there's a car that's gotten bent this dawn.
Oh.
I think it's a mini 4-wheel drive. Just before you get to 37 from the Lands Commission area.
Wow.
all those disruptions for us to get here
delayed,
in the morning.
massive traffic.
Yeah, but delay is not denial. You are here in studio.
You are a fantastic woman.
Yes,
you are the best.
You are very welcome. How are you feeling, by the way?
Have you done the greetings? Oh, okay. So what were
we
you talking
didn't.
about?
We've greeted. Listen, just take it easy.
You greeted on my behalf.
We've greeted our audience, but not specific names that you mentioned. So if you want me to start, Dr. Sally for combat of the rates group.
No. Hey. No, I have to give you the recital. Dr. Salifu Combat is with the National Health Insurance Authority.
But who is with the rates group?
Relax. Then I have Edmond Combat.
Rates group.
No.
So it's a combat.
Oil Refinery.
Oh, okay.
You know he's from Bunkrugu as
well. But you're not
so.
assuring the rates group.
Yes, who is the rates group? Chairman Godwin Tamaklo.
Fantastic. Chairman Prosper.
Yeah. That's for MPA as well.
Chairman Prosper with Prosler.
Oh,
that's for MPA as
telling
well.
people relax. Engineers and
of engineers and planners.
Yeah. Of you know Ibrahim Mohammed's company as well. Alaji Nuruddin, that's his chief driver. Good morning to you. And then
it's a good morning to
Shadakabi. And Nana Danso Bonsu.
Okay.
Of Sefri in the Western North region. I've gone far. I'm extending the Ghana map.
Okay. Nana Sikafra as well.
Nana Sikafra, former aide, and then a director for the free SHS program, and Dr. Yao Osei Duchum, under the Nanado Dankwe Kufuado Baumia government. Great woman, and then also a gentleman. And
but you didn't greet us here.
How are you?
Special greetings also to the current Minister of Education,
hey, a lot of
Minister
I'm not greeting them.
Haruna Idrisu. Congratulations on all that you're doing for the curriculum from kindergarten to
a lot of people say I'm not greeting them.
Kindergarten to JHS, and we're told that in no time we'll be having the inclusion of coding, electronics, AI, and then TVET as part of the curriculum that we are running from kindergarten to the JHS level.
Future,
and then the Minister of Roads, Honorable Gavin Agboja, good morning to you as well. It's been a lot on your neck ever since the rain started. A lot of the roads are in bad positions, but we can tell that you are working. Congratulations to you on all the good work that you are doing as well. Who else are we saying good morning to? Oh, Auntie Jifa Gomashi, Auntie Jifa Abla, Honorable Jifa Abla Gomashi in Dina. Good morning, Auntie. I hope that you're doing well. Who else have we left out? Abeku Santana Agri, Honorable. Good morning. Yentraso.
All protocols observed.
People, you get problems with people like
Aaron
Brasso, God in the name of GPH, all of those people. They are there.
Can I ask
anyway, for big issues this morning, big issues.
How do you carry all? How do you carry all
these? Because they are my friends, so I'm always talking to them constantly. Please, for big issues, the minority put together a whole press conference. You know, they had a release alongside the MPP also raising. Now they are looking at ways of appeal, but also raising questions about the outcome of that judgment. And now, how many days now? 3 days or 2 days? 3 days since Chairman Wuntumi has
been... Is it 3 or 2? 2
days.
Today's the second day.
Okay, great. So we want to look at the options of appeal and then the 20 pointers that...
No, 3 days actually, because it was Monday, Tuesday, today's Wednesday.
Great. So his lawyer, Atachia, apparently had the daughter's graduation in the UK.
Which he had to attend.
Yes.
If it was your daughter's birthday, you would also attend.
But in proceedings in court,
you would also attend.
Proceedings in court, the judges they are not wooden dolls.
But he had already alerted the court that he will not be available.
So what they do is, in agreeing for the next date, they confer with the various counsels or lawyers for the defendants as well as the prosecution, and then they come to a certain buy-in or middle ground to set the date. Even though, of course,
that was the point they were making earlier, that it's within their jurisdiction and not the lawyers determining.
Exactly.
Well, true, that's true.
They can.
That's true.
But the confusion for me, the biggest confusion for me is, okay, so lawyer Atachia takes over from lawyer Apia Kubi, and on the day of the conviction or the declaration of the judgment, Atachia is not available, but Apia Kubi was called in the morning that just in case he goes left, appeal. Can you explain what that
I think that for I'm told that for the lawyers, each time they have cases of this nature and a judgment to be delivered, they always have their processes for to file an appeal always ready.
That's not what I'm talking about. You can file an appeal, but why isn't the lawyer who is sitting on the case, your case or defending you right now, be the one to do the appeal? Why is it the other one who left the case? I don't get it.
Well, it's the decision of the defendant or the accused to make a
determine
decision as to who will represent him or her. So,
but if there was a changeover, I don't see why the reversion. Why do you go back?
You just have to make sure that the court is in the know by informing the court that in the absence of the lead counsel.
You are not getting my question.
I get you perfectly.
But you don't want to answer me.
No, in the absence of the lead counsel, so and so has come in. And beyond just having Apia Kubi, who was supposed to... Was he in court that day?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't in the chamber.
And Atachia sent some other junior lawyers to go and represent him.
So they can also make a choice for one of them to represent the accused person.
But if
because
I'm working
there always
for you,
has to be representation.
A lead.
Yes.
That's all.
But if I'm working for you and you change me to go for Beatrice.
Informing the court.
Exactly. Why is it that in our local palace,
because that's a subsequent process.
You are coming
that's
back
a subsequent process after the judgment was read.
I get
so
it.
In taking
Why
the next...
don't you let Beatrice continue with the appeal, even though he's not in the country?
Well, if the person is not in the jurisdiction, are you going to file from the United States or the United Kingdom?
Would that not make it valid?
Sign.
Would that not make it valid? If I file from there, well, I'm still the defendant. I'm still the defendant's lawyer.
You cannot file
it's not legal.
From outside the jurisdiction. You have to be within the jurisdiction.
Okay.
Even if you're not, then it means that you are assigning somebody else, but you have to let the court know.
Court to know. Oh, so that's what he did.
Yes, that's what at least the few lawyers that I spoke to, that's what they said.
Okay.
I may be wrong though, but...
Okay. Well, lawyers are watching this morning, so if there's any clarification or correction, please let us know. Do we have any lawyers on the panel today? No. So is Dr. Zato, Solomon Owusu, and then who else do we have this morning who are coming in for today? Let me quickly fetch that. Okay, so we actually have Andy Apia Kubi. He'll be speaking to us this morning. Oh, okay. So no, I think I have the wrong one. Forgive me.
Yes.
Forgive me. Do you want to continue? Solomon Owusu, Dr. Joshua Zato, and then Abdul Fattah Alassan, as well as Isaac Boama Nyaku.
Yes.
Those are the four that will be in studio today. Okay. All right.
To talk about this, yes.
Now, Rolly, have you heard about the 60 Ghana deductions from the
National
Service persons?
That's been brewing since Monday. Is it Monday?
Yes, but you know it's been suspended, right?
Yes, by the National Service Authority. National Service Authority. But this one was imposed, we're told, by the Personnel or Persons Association, the National Service Personnel Association.
But was it done in consultation with the board and management? Did the association do so in consultation with the board and management?
Well, I don't know how they work. So, but I'm thinking if it's their allowance and they have association, an association representing them, then it also means that maybe they could have taken the decision, because I'm told that it was a decision that was taken by the association, and the leaders of the association have been elected to represent the group.
Okay.
And so, but if they wanted to do it wholesomely, then they should have informed maybe the general body as well.
They should have.
And then get a buy-in. You know what they say about participatory democracy and all that.
And because if it's for capacity building, which is at the end benefiting us or all personnel, then I don't see why they should not have been informed before the deductions were done.
True.
But the Deputy Finance Director of the National Service Scheme, Fusaini Donko, will be joining us in no time to bring us clarity on exactly what the situation was leading up to the suspension, as we heard yesterday. You're welcome to TV3 Newday. Let's now head to this morning's segment.
Suspend the capacity building program and associated deductions follows concern raised by some national service personnel over the implementation of the program and the mandatory deductions linked to it. According to the association, the suspension is intended to allow for a comprehensive review of the initiative, including stakeholder consultations to address the concerns and improve its implementation.
Over the past few days, we have been engaged by the management of the National Service Authority over the concerns and frustrations expressed. In response to the feedback from the service personnel and general public, and as well as in line with the sector ministers and board's directive, the management have issued this directive to NASPA. The capacity building program, as currently structured, is hereby suspended with immediate effect, pending a comprehensive review of the program for a decisive action to be taken, which is in line with our sector minister and the Minister of Youth, Empowerment and Development, Honorable George Opariado's directive.
Abdul Wahab explained that monies already deducted had been committed to administrative and operational activities related to the program, making refund impracticable at this stage.
We wish to assure every national service personnel that there will be no further deductions on behalf of or in relation to the capacity building training. We would like to emphasize that we welcome this directive wholeheartedly.
He further urged service personnel to remain calm and cooperate with the review process as the association works with relevant stakeholders to determine the way forward.
All right, welcome back to TV3 Newday. This is this morning's segment, and our concentration this morning is on that 60 cedi deduction from the 715 National Service Allowance. And we're told that as at this moment, it has been suspended, and the deductions were geared towards capacity building of the personnel. And in speaking to some of the authorities, we're told that it wasn't short term, it was supposed to be for a very long time, serving as benefits, of course, to the personnel. But the Deputy Finance Director of the National Service Scheme, Donko Fuseni, is joining us again this morning. Sir, if you can hear us, thank you very much for giving us your time. How are you doing?
Good morning, Kukiti. Good morning to your lovely listeners and viewers.
Well, there are so many questions that we've got for you this morning, but first of all, is there an explanation, or from where you sit, an understanding of why, even from jump, the 60 cedi deduction was deemed necessary?
Thank you very much. NASPA, as any other association mandated by law, has its own ways of getting their members to make contribution to their programs. So, for example, if NASPA brings a resolution that this year, this is the amount of money that we want to deduct from our allowances as NASPA. NASPA represents the body of all national service personnel. So that is their association. And once it is their association and it is their allowance, whatever they all decide that this is what we want to use part of our allowance for, mostly the authority is mandated by law to actually go with what they have decided, once it is a collective decision. So as and when they bring those resolutions, ours is to allow them or give them access to what they have decided and then facilitate that particular deduction for them. They do that for their high purchase equipment. So most of the service personnel, some of them buy cooking utensils, some of them buy electronics. So what they do is that after buying those things, they put together a resolution, then bring the resolution together with the company they've contracted to actually supply them those items. So all management does is to facilitate the deductions to pay that particular particular vendor. So it was in that same spirit that from their council meeting, I think they started February, they brought a resolution that they wanted to do a capacity building for all the service personnel to prepare them for the job market. And it was going to be done in within 4 months. So they started in February, March, April, and May. And their resolution was that they were going to deduct 15 cedis per person. Some of the numbers have been mixed up. Some of the numbers have been overhyped. The actual numbers National Service Authority is dealing with this particular service here is 55,000. Those are the actual numbers on government payroll who receive their, allowances, and not 70,000. So once they brought that particular resolution, all the Director General has to do is to give them permission that, listen, this particular amount has been agreed. Let's set aside this particular amount for them to use to do their program. So that particular permission was given, but then they couldn't do the deductions in February, they couldn't do the deductions in March, and in May, in April as well. So they wanted to do the 4-tranche deduction for just this month, which is the 60 cedis. And it was going to be a one-off deduction. So it's also not true that they were going to be paying that 60 cedis every month. No, that is also wrong. Because what they brought us was they were supposed to pay 15 cedis over 4 months. But because they couldn't do the deduction at the start of their capacity building, they decided to do the one-off deduction this time, which was the 60 cedis at a go. And that is where some members of the association, and mind you, Cookie, National Service Authority by law cannot so much intervene or interfere in the activities of NASPA. We can only do so when a member or some members of the association also petition us that this is what their leadership is doing, and they are not in support of what the leadership is doing. That is the only way the authority now has power or legal grounds to intervene. So as it stands now, because there was a petition presented to the minister, he had grounds now to order the board to actually instruct the management to halt this particular activity. And that is exactly what happened. So that is why you realize that yesterday, by the kind grace of God, once the minister instructed the board also implored on the management that, listen, go ahead, stop any further deduction, make sure the program is also halted, and then let's do a review of the program quickly. So that is exactly what we have done as management.
So from the explanations you've given up to this point, you accept that whatever decision that was taken and brought to you wasn't as collective as you believed it was?
Well, we actually, like I said, since May, we've been asking them to, whenever they bring the resolution, we ask them to go and exhaust the discussions. So we've actually postponed this particular deduction for like 2 or 3 times. First, when it started in February, we asked them to bring us a complete resolution that they've all accepted this. And they brought that letter where the district executives, the regional executives have all signed that this is what they've agreed to. And until May, when they brought another letter that this is a collective decision that we've all agreed to. So we kept postponing just to make sure that they exhausted all forms of consultation.
Mr. Fuseni, but from
the deduction,
Mr. Fuseni, but from all indications, it does not look like consultations were exhausted. It does not look like all stakeholders were engaged before the deductions started. So the question here is, who at NSA approved the deductions to Zeus Atlas Limited? We want to understand.
So like I said, NSA as an authority cannot deal with Zeus Atlas. We don't deal with him because we don't even know him. It is NASPA that has contracted Zeus Atlas. So all we will do is that we will credit the account of NASPA. And NASPA will then go and pay Zeus, because if Zeus was dealing with National Service Authority, he would have gone through the public procurement process. But Zeus was not dealing with us, and we don't even have Zeus Atlas in our books at all. It is NASPA that is dealing directly with SUS. So all we will do is to facilitate the deduction and credit the account of NASPA. Then NASPA will now go and then settle their payments with SUS. Because we didn't contract SUS. So like I said, all we had to do is to give NASPA's deduction to them. So once we satisfy that particular process, that listen, they brought the documents, they brought the resolution. Until this particular petition came, that is where we have the legal grounds now to go in and say, listen, this is what your members are also saying. This is what some members of your group are saying, that you did not exhaust the constitution, you did not exhaust the consultation as you indicated to us. So now that this has come up and the board has instructed us, now we have legal grounds to go into their activities. Anything short of that would have been interfering in an association's activities.
Mr. Donko, I want us to go to the genesis of the matter, and you've just repeated the fact that the National Service Secretariat doesn't interfere in the affairs of NASPA. So if you can tell us, in the first place, what kind of conversations did you have with the NASPA reps that came to you as regards why they needed this? What informed the amount that they decided to deduct? And when they talk about capacity building, what exactly
what do they mean?
Yes.
Right?
Which actually convinced you to give the go-ahead?
Yeah, so normally, like I said, management on our own, we also try to do some form of capacity building for them. At times, even we do the postings, conferences. We do, after posting, we are even supposed to do another after post conferences that will do capacity building for them, just to prepare them for the service they are getting themselves into. But they brought a comprehensive program that seeks to also give them this particular package of preparing them from the job market. It includes agric, it includes IT, AI, like some form of additional studies to aid them after the service that can assist them in their job areas or in their job search. So that is what they brought to us, that listen, we need this in addition to what we've studied in school. We have spoken to our members. They've agreed that we need this program. They will be given certificates after the program as additional studies they've done in addition to what they did in the schools. So yes, like I said, ours is to advise and then guide. But we cannot so much enforce most of their activities. So yes, we offered what we think will be right. But then if they say this is what they want, all we can do is to facilitate the activities to make sure it is within the law. So yes, they brought it, we studied it. Yes, the content of the training between you and I was okay. But the most important thing is if they all agree to what they were going to do. And as it's coming out now, it looks as if what the executives brought, maybe almost all the members were not on board. Yes, about 80% of them went along, but you could see that the few that were not even on board are louder than even the 80% that they said they were on board with them. But in the beginning, there was no counter petition or counter ideas that we don't want this. So that is the reason why they were given the access. But if there was anything from the beginning that we also don't support what our executives are doing, right from the beginning, it would have not been possible for them to get their hands on the deductions.
The deductions as we speak this morning, are you still collecting? Are you still deducting? Or as we heard in the news yesterday, has there truly been a suspension?
No, once the instruction has been given by the board that we should halt the deduction, anyone whose allowance has not been deducted yet is stopped.
And then once you deduct
so the next phase is to make sure. So once we issue that instruction, that is it. So those they deducted, that is what we will go into and try to make sure we do the proper auditing.
Okay, Mr. Fuseni, we need an understanding. Have you halted the deductions just because of the agitation or the pushback that you are getting from some other members of NASPA, or the association or the authority actually thinks that the capacity building program is needless at this time? Which of the two reasons is attributing to?
The truth is that once the minister has instructed that we should halt all activities, it means stop everything. So one, yes, the minister has instructed. The board has also given us the mandate now. So we are legally bound to stop all the deductions. So that is what we've done. So now we are going to now go into the activities of the training. Because before this, we didn't have the authority to go into the activities that they were doing. But now that there is a petition, we will now take a look at everything that was going on, because now we have a legal mandate to intervene. So it is now that we'll look at even the training, what they were giving them, the certification, who is even giving the Atlas group, where is it taking his authority to give certification from, all those things. So now it is now that the National Service Authority has the power to intervene in everything that they were doing.
Other question is, those who have already been deducted, when should they expect their monies to return to them?
So we are still in talk with the association. If you listen to their press release, they are saying some commitments have already been made. So this morning, the Director General will still meet with them. We'll look at the total numbers that they've already deducted. We'll look at it and consider it and see how best we can resolve it. So until we meet the association leadership and know the total number of personnel that they deducted from, then we can make a concrete decision as to how we can go about with the refund.
What do they mean by some commitments have already been made? You've deducted my money, I say return it, and you're saying you've already committed my money into what exactly?
So like I said, Cookie, this particular training started already. So they said they've started the capacity building program already. So like I said, they started somewhere in February. So it's ongoing. They were just about running up. So according to them, some payments for what has been done already has been made. That is what they are saying. But like I said, we'll meet them this morning, understand exactly the amount they've taken, the total number of personnel who were affected, and then we'll take a better decision from there.
So within which period? Do you still have an idea after your auditing, maybe in a week or 2 weeks' time, you would have resolved the issues and those who need to receive would have received or been reimbursed?
So like I said, this is not our decision. It was their decision. So, Beatrice, until the Director General meets with the leadership of NASPA, we don't even know the total number of people that they've deducted from. Okay. And the total amount involved. So we'll look at all that this morning. Once that is done, then now another team from the operations side will go into the activities of the capacity building itself. It will run concurrently. So we'll look at what they were actually being taught on. Then we'll look at the total number of people whose allowances have been deducted. Then we'll merge the two and take a very good decision that will be in the interest of the service personnel.
Mr. Fuseni, just before you go, maybe it's me who's not understanding you, but in your earlier submission, you did say that you have no relationship or you do not know anything about Zeus Atlas. But I'm asking, as an authority who's authorizing deductions of 60 cedi to Zeus Atlas, you didn't want to take a bit of time to understand the company that is providing capacity building services to NASPA?
Cookie, let's all understand that just like NAT, NAGRAT, TEU, NASPA is also just another association mandated by law. So on their own, they are an autonomous body that can award contracts on their own. if the authority intervenes or interferes in that particular activity, will be performing an illegality or trying to micromanage the association. The authority on our own, if we wanted to do capacity program for them, we would have done it for free.
Okay.
And then we would have now contracted Atlas Group and taken them through our public procurement process. But the moment we try to deal with Atlas Group directly, it means Atlas Group has to now follow the public procurement process of National Service Authority.
Okay.
But it was NASPA that contracted Atlas Group.
Okay.
So that particular process of contracting them, National Service was not involved.
Okay.
So if we try to now go and take Atlas Group, if we try to now go and interfere in the procurement process, it will just be as if we are trying to micromanage NASPA, which could result in agitations and all other things. So they did everything that they needed to do.
Mr.
But like I said, we only have a legal leg to enter this process now because there is a counter petition from members of the association. That is what gives the minister even the authority to now interfere. That is what gives the board to now give us an instruction, because now there is a petition. So it is the members themselves saying, what our leadership are doing, we don't want it. So National Service Authority, we are inviting you to intervene. That is what has given us the legal ground to now enter the whole process.
Okay. Mr. Hussaini, we thank you for your time and your explanation this morning. We'll come back to you to see if the refund, as you promised, has been done.
my DG says I should thank you and Beatrice for the wonderful advert you've done for National Service.
Oh, no, but truth be told,
from this morning.
Truth be told, it wasn't even an advert. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Your eggs and your chicken are
Very
the most
nice.
organic poultry products that we have ever enjoyed in this country.
No,
so thank you.
The truth of the matter is that per the policy of the National Service Authority, we don't sell eggs beyond 24 hours.
Oh.
So once we collect, so this morning they are collecting. Whatever they collect this morning will be sold off today.
Okay.
All right.
Then, so that is how we keep our eggs very fresh. And we try to do the freezing for our chicken. We don't freeze beyond 72 hours.
Okay. All right.
So when we slaughter the chicken, we freeze them. The next day we start selling. That is how we keep them tasty and fresh.
Thank you for feeding Mother Ghana, and thank you for your time as well.
We are going to do more. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.
And a number of you sending in your messages. MK Erickson Techiman says, greetings, Ms. Beatrice Edu. If you're... Okay, so Mr. Fuseni, you can actually stay on for us. It says, if your lead lawyer chooses to abandon you a day to your critical day, as in judgment of your liberty for his daughter's graduation, he or she tells a lot about the client's value in the eyes of the lawyer. Wouldn't to make kafra. And then he says the NASPA leadership must be sacked. If years of training in the university and training college didn't train one enough to be employable, is it 2 months of so-called capacity training that will make one employable? What background due diligence was done by the National Service Authority before crediting NASPA's account? You see, that is the National Service Authority that's in the media suffering to explain, whilst NASPA is nowhere. Government agencies must be very careful. And that's coming from MK Erickson Techiman.
Our WhatsApp platform. Our WhatsApp platform is also very active. And I see that a lot of the National Service personnel are actually sending us messages. So let's open the portal and see how many we can read. This one says, hey, Kwame Acidity. Good morning, the team. In fact, the current judicial system is working perfectly under NDC's government. The law must apply equally to everyone, regardless of political affiliation. Chairman Wontumi still has a pending case or has pending cases in court. Special greetings to, all right. Beatrice, continue. Let's let's scroll up.
Donla says, having served as NASPA National Secretariat and UWR, that's the Upper West Regional President, respectively. NASPA decisions are taken from Congress, not NSA, that's in the National Service Authority. And then it says the National Service Authority, NSA, oversees and regulates NASPA's activities, but it does not take part in NASPA's decision-making process. Major decisions are taken at the mini Congress, which is made up of regional and national executives. Once a resolution is adopted, it is submitted to the Director General of the NSA together with the signed minutes of the meeting for implementation. And indeed, a number of you sending in your messages. Oh, Kwamina even sent multiple ones. Thank you very much for your messages.
Taking a break now, but please remember to pack up your day the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of Peck Milk Shortcake. It is pure delight, available in every corner store here in Ghana. We take a break. The Big Issue will be back with Roland Walker.
Hey, Junior! You did this shit, sir.
Remember shit that your mama made. For home church, all of and watch it. Back to school with Kenke.
Hey, Charlie, you bring home Joe. Nah, no bring.
Political Science Department, also with the Africa Lens. And he's also here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland. Good morning.
Africa Policy Lens, right?
Yes, okay. Thank you. And a big shout out to Cheval Collections. They made this very
Cheval.
nice.
Where are they located?
They are in East Legon, American House, and they're also in Osu and other places. So they
East
make this
Legon.
beautiful. Thank you. Good morning, Cheval Collections.
American House.
Yes, yes. East Legon. I think they even have one in Cantonment. So
Cantonment.
I want to thank you very much for this beautiful this thing I'm wearing, and thank you. And so you should go and get one from them. If you mention my name, they'll give you a discount.
Fantastic.
They are very nice people. They will make you look nicer than you look.
You're very blue. Your tie looks very blue on there.
Yeah. Cheval, yes, I look nice.
Cheval.
Yeah, Cheval Collection.
Cheval Collection.
They are really nice people. And thank you, and good morning to you. Good morning to Salo, and good morning to our viewers all over the country. I'm sure we are part of the morning of so many people, millions of people across the country. It's always a pleasure to come to them and do justice to the topics we have. Except that Solo is always doing...
He's doing Jandam, man. Jandam. Solo is always doing Jandam.
That's the main thing that... Other than that, it's always good. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, Mani Nimani says, please correct yourself. Solo is rather killing Jandam. Okay. Mani Nimani, good morning to you. Wishing you all the best for the day.
It has started. So you've told your boys to come, okay? You've already told your boys they should come.
Money that is a regular viewer.
Yeah, across.
Like we have regulars, yes.
Zilis Dwayne, Vida, Mani Mani, Yemule,
and all.
We've created a faithful following and a solid following.
They follow you people around.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
How are you? How are you?
I can't complain. I'm very good. I'm very good.
You monitor Chairman to me on the proceedings.
Oh yes, it was beautiful.
Have you gone through the judgment?
Oh, I have read it.
How many times have you read it?
Twice.
Welcome,
it's a good thing.
And I'm sure same goes for Jabuti as well. Jabuti, I saw you with Umaru Sanda. You know Umaru Sanda did internship and things here. And,
oh, wow.
You people were fighting over whether you're a member of the MPU. But I thought it was logical. I mean, you've contested for Sisala East, so I don't know why he was trying to give you a hard time. Did you guys reconcile after those Q&A session?
There was nothing to reconcile.
Okay, but you're on good terms and good grounds.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time, actually. There was nothing to reconcile about. There was no outstanding issues.
Umaru Sanda, that guy can worry.
But that too must be told in the face.
That one.
He cannot continue to come here and pretend as though he's not a member of the MPP.
And so you must also be told in your face.
Oh, yes.
You must also be told in your face.
Yes.
You didn't invite me here. And you cannot tell me what I can come here and say.
No, I don't have any problem with that.
No, you do. You are just saying you have a problem. If you don't have a problem, you wouldn't have been saying what you're saying.
The problem I have with you is
so you have a problem, you don't have a problem.
Live in a community.
No, so which is which? You have a problem, you don't have a problem.
No, I don't have a problem with you coming here saying
so
that...
you have a problem, you don't have a problem.
So you
don't have a problem.
You see why you have a problem always?
I don't have a problem.
It is just unconscionable for Zato to come and sit here and pretend that he's not a member of the MPP. When, as a matter of fact, you are a bona fide member of the MPP. And that is what I'm telling you, that you must not
and I'm also telling you something.
I'm
also telling you something. I am here in whatever capacity I'm here, not to make you happy or comfortable.
Oh, so
you have no right to tell me how I should be here or how I shouldn't be here.
All right.
You do not define that.
Yeah, but so you are a member of the MPP.
I'm saying you do not define what I have to be and have to. I don't owe you that.
It's a certain.
I do not owe you that, Solomon. I do not owe you that.
I mean, the last
you say, I do not owe you that.
Please.
You had.
You've carried a conversation from Umaru Sanda to this place.
The
premise.
I don't know. I'm saying that. I don't owe you that.
The last premise.
I don't owe you.
He had 86.
Yes. I don't owe you.
And the Chinya had 433.
Yes. Chinya, I don't owe you.
Isahaku.
The deputy.
The deputy. And you are going to contest again. So why would you want to give your opponents an ammunition for them to use against you tomorrow?
And why is
you
that
have denied the MPP on countless occasions? Or the MPP has become so unattractive that you are running away from it.
Why is that your problem?
It's my problem.
Why is that
Why? Please, gentlemen. Can we get down to business? Can we get down to business?
Yeah, that's business.
Yes, it's part of the business.
You're done with your business.
Cephas Arthur, ACP Cephas Arthur says that the niece is celebrating the birthday, 10 years. Samuela Akwete, and you're celebrating your birthday. First Knowledge Learning Center, South Odoko, is from your uncle, ACP Cephas Arthur, wishing you all the best for the morning as well. But please, if you're watching us this morning, I would love to acknowledge a number of you across our social media handles. We're here because you make it possible for all of us to be able to interact swiftly. And Ima Date says that the twin brothers, and so I see some Wakati as well. Prince Nania York is watching us from the UK. Kwesi Mensah is in Albany, New York. And then a couple of you as well. Please, make sure let's have some. PHK, Daniel Paliok, I see you also. Please share the stream. Yesuto, I see you. Nana Benin. All right. So following that, we also know that a number of discussions have been had already. Are we taking an insight from the minority or straight away? We can just straight away go to Jabuntie Zato. What do you make of the minority's demands, but also what the lead lawyer or counsel said, that he had to travel for other expedient matters as well?
Once again, thank you and good morning to your listeners. I think in all this Wontumi brouhaha, when you look at it, people tend to dehumanize Chairman Wontumi. Probably because of his lifestyle, probably because of the way most people see him on TV. People are trying to deny him of his basic humanity. And so you see people saying that, oh, he was seen on TV showing gold, he's living a rather more audacious lifestyle, and his public pronouncements. But I think that when we do that, when we deny that humanity, we are not being fair to him. At the end of the day, he's a human being. At the end of the day, he's a man with a family, with children, with people who love him and care for him. So no matter what the case is, we need to always understand and respect that, respect his humanity. The day we forget that is the day that we are not being fair to him. Of course, he has now been convicted, the judgment is there. But what I want to start by saying is this, that Chairman Wontumi was not convicted for engaging in galamsey. The judgment did not say he was engaged in galamsey. He was doing galamsey, polluting our waters and destroying our forests. The judgment did not say that. 2, the judgment did not say Chairman Wontumi was convicted for causing financial loss to the state. He did not cause financial loss to the state. Right. The judgment did not say Chairman Wontumi was convicted because he was stealing or he stole from the state. He did not steal from the state. 4, the judgment did not say Chairman Wontumi was corrupt or he was convicted for corruption. Chairman Wontumi was not convicted because he's corrupt. And it's important to get these things outside there so that we understand them. At the end of the day, this is what I try to say, or this is what I say. This conviction of Chairman Wontumi will be meaningless unless and until, 1, it leads to the total eradication of galamsey in this country. This conviction of Chairman Wontumi should be our coming to Jesus moment. We had that. We almost had a coming to Jesus moment when those patriots died that Wednesday morning in the flight. And everybody said that moment should serve as a watermark where, and the history, when we write the history, we should say that that was the day we started turning the tide against galamsey and winning the galamsey fight. It did not happen. My prayer is that if the conviction of Chairman Wontumi does not become a coming to Jesus moment, then it will be meaningless. Number 2, the conviction of Chairman Wontumi will also be meaningless if His Excellency the President of the Republic refused or failed to name those people in his own government who are engaged in galamsey. It will be meaningless and become the height of hypocrisy if we do not get those people named, at least named, so that even if not convicted, they will at least what we call name and shame. Name and shame has become an acceptable international standard when dealing with existential crisis. Number 3, the conviction of Chairman Wontumi will become meaningless unless or until those members of parliament, so you and I sat here, and we saw the members of parliament whose action and inaction led to the threat on the lives of nameless people, right? And I think, Roland, you were the one that here, you projected the then commander of Nemos here. And he told us how they almost killed them. What happened to those members of parliament?
What's your point with this you're raising?
I'm making it. If the conviction of Chairman Wontumi will become useless and meaningless unless and until those MPs, those people that are convicted. True. The DCs, there is documentary done about MCEs and DCs. We were told by the president that sanitation and how galamsey is fought will become a key KPI for all MCEs and DCs in this country. So far, who are the MCs? Who are the GCs? Who are those who engage in Galamsey? If the conviction of Chairman Wontumi does not lead to us exposing them and trying them, it becomes meaningless and useless. Number 3, the NDC party wigs, the party seniors. The conviction of Chairman Wontumi will be useless unless and until all these people are what? At least prosecuted, so that we'll know what happens. See, the problem ordinary Ghanaians are having is the fact that we are seeing a huge amount of hypocrisy and selective justice when it comes to this. If everybody, the coalitions against Galamsey, everybody says that there are kingpins in the Galamsey fight. There's always something called regime and post-regime accountability. What we are told is that Chairman Wontumi was a kingpin, a Galamsey kingpin under Akufo-Addo, but that Akufo-Addo shielded him, did not prosecute him. And that was wrong. Now, what has happened now?
It's not in the judgment like that.
I'm not saying it's the judgment. I'm making a point.
You are making that up.
I'm not making it up.
Also
I'm making
aligning with the public opinion.
When Akufo-Addo was in power, we were told by everybody that Chairman Wontumi was engaged in Galamsey. That's true. But he was not prosecuted under Akufo-Addo. That's also true. That's what we call, if Akufo-Addo had prosecuted him, it would have been called regime accountability. So Akufo-Addo did not engage in regime accountability. That's what I'm told. He has left power, a new government, a new president has come, and that president is engaging what? Post-regime accountability. By what? Prosecuted and getting Wontumi jailed. Today, the same story is being told, that there are Galamsey kingpins within the government itself. And once again, we are seeing that this government is not engaging, or it's not engaging in any meaningful investigation and prosecution. That means the attitude of the president.
You mean the prosecution of its own?
Its own. That's regime accountability. So what you've seen is that the attitude and the behavior of the current government is similar, if not the same as the former government, in that they both are refusing or both refuse to go after their own in the Galamsey fight. And so what we are looking at now is that the only way we can get accountability for those that are currently engaged in corruption, in Galamsey, is what? A post-regime accountability. And that, for me, is a problem, because we have a president who's supposed to be a legacy-defining president. We have a president who can say, my legacy will be cleaner waters, safer rivers, safer forests, but he's not doing that. Secondly, I believe that if today, the president and the owns and deserve the people of Ghana to make sure that we don't miss this Wontumi conviction.
Okay. All right. I have 2 more questions for you, but let me just introduce to you the Member of Parliament for Efia and lawyer Isaac Boama Nyakon is here. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
The traffic took some time to get you out.
That is correct.
All right, welcome. But in trying to make your first introduction and utterances, or perhaps your own submissions, you said Chairman Wontumi was not convicted for Galamsey. And that is true because it was not part of the charges.
Yeah.
So what were part of the charges were assignment of mineral rights by him as a director.
Yes.
And also by a significant assignment, his company as well.
Yes.
And then also purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining operation.
Yes.
So there's facilitation.
Yes.
There's an assignment of mineral rights.
Yes. But they didn't say he was doing Galamsey himself.
What do you think by inference?
No, you can tell me that. No, so did I lie? No, it's a question, yes. But did I lie when I said that Chairman Wontumi they didn't convict for engaging in Galamsey? Did I lie?
You lied.
So he was convicted for engaging in Galamsey.
Absolutely.
And that's what the judgment said. That Chairman Wontumi was himself engaged in Galamsey.
First of all, what is Galamsey?
No, I'm saying that. So no, that's the point. We'll come to that. So you're saying that the judge said Chairman Wontumi, he himself, was directly engaged in Galamsey. Not that he was facilitating or not that he gave rights.
That is not in the judgment. I'm asking you, so what do you understand by facilitating?
No.
And then also assignment of mineral rights.
Assignment. So
so you assign the mineral rights to a third party to undertake mining illegally.
Yes, but you did not do it. You assigned it. Those are different things. It never said he did it.
Okay, so let's take a scenario.
Okay,
you assign your car to be used for an armed robbery operation. In the eyes of the law, do you think you'll be convicted for armed robbery?
I don't know what the law says about that.
It's good you're not a lawyer.
Thank you.
Okay.
But the point I'm also trying to make is this. If Chairman Wontumi was directly engaged in Galamsey, the charges would have said that. Because people have been convicted for directly engaging in galamsey. So if the charges did not say, it means he wasn't.
I see.
You understand that? Because we know there are people currently standing trial. Because there's a lawyer here, you can tell me, right? There are people currently standing trial in it. Because if you are caught stealing and charged with stealing, they will not say that you are charged for facilitating stealing. If you murder, they will not charge you for facilitating a murder. They will charge you for murder. So if you murder, they could not also charge you for manslaughter because it's not manslaughter, it's murder. They only charge you for manslaughter if you engage in manslaughter. So Chairman Woon to me was not charged or convicted of galamsey, but of facilitating it. And those are materially and significantly different. And that's the point I made.
Labuama, what do you make of all this? Were you at that press conference yesterday? And is it Madam Patricia PJ who read that statement on behalf of the minority, in which you raised concerns beyond what the minority had raised in that press statement a day before about your own convictions about this judgment in the first place? And how then would you situate that within the issues that have been raised as part of a defense to that judgment in the first place, in the public domain?
All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And a good morning to our viewers and listeners, and also to my co-panelists, and also to our flag bearer, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, for all the work that he's doing. You know, recently, he's also commented on some few issues of national interest. The latest had to do with, which one?
The tribunal.
Yes, the tribunal, exactly, where he's asking His Excellency the President.
Tribunal is of national interest? But you were part of the chamber, you passed it.
No, I'm part of the chamber, but we opposed it as a minority. And if you check the facts, we even staged a walk out. And that is not to suggest that the tribunal in itself, as provided in the Constitution, cannot be an issue that can be implemented. But the time and the circumstances and the fact supporting it, we think is inadequate and insufficient at such a time like this. And so it's important we let the people of Ghana understand a lot of the racial. Because we will come back to the Wontumi question, but it's all part of the justice delivery system. And in law, we have what we normally commonly say, that justice should not just be done, but it should be seen to be done. And we need to continue to build trust in our judicial structures and system. And we see this tribunal bill and the issues that we've raised and some of the provisions of the law that is being passed, that it is going to go contrary to justice delivery system. But maybe on another day, we would have a deeper conversation on that. Now, to the issue of the conviction of Wontumi and matters arising, I think as a matter of course, we've been very consistent as a minority and as Ghanaians that nobody is going to condone any illegality or anything that anybody does contrary to law. As a political party, as a minority, and as a Ghanaian, nobody is going to support any breach or any disobedience to the laws of this country.
You mean the minority?
Minority, as a political party, as a new patriotic party, and personally as a lawyer and as a Ghanaian and a member of parliament, we are adding consistent that we are not going to support, countenance any breach or disobedience to the laws of this country.
But you're...
I'm laying a foundation. So this is the belief and the principle of the party. The second issue is that we are a people that respect the rule of law. And we also respect judicial institutions. So as a political party, as a minority caucus, and as a lawyer and an MP and a Ghanaian, we've always been consistent that we want to show fidelity to the rule of law. This is the foundation of our democracy. And so anything and everything that happens within the judicial institutions and within our democratic dispensation, we want to pay respect to the rules of engagement, which is respecting the rule of law. And we've said that on countless occasions. The key issue that we want to put on record is that as a caucus, as a party, and as a minority, we are also committed to accountability. And that accountability should be at all levels of governance. So we ourselves are ready to subject ourselves to the principles of accountability. We want every Ghanaian, irrespective of their political colorization, to also be able to subject themselves to political accountability, fiscal accountability, and all manner of accountability in this country. The challenge that I have seen, and we have seen as a minority caucus, in relation to issues about judicial trial by this particular administration, is the inconsistency in the application of the law. And I'm saying this from the very beginning that the NDC came to power. I've been on record, and we've been on record as a caucus, that the signal the Attorney General gave 1 week after he was sworn in as Attorney General in withdrawing cases from court and entering nolle prosequi against selected persons who are connected to the NDC gave an indication that the government is not committed to the principles of accountability across board. Because you see, when you come in as an AG and cases are in court nearing determination, and then you pick and choose which ones you want to withdraw because you believe that the facts before the court are not sufficient to gain a conviction. Whilst a previous Attorney General has prosecuted almost to the point of judgment, and the only people that you withdrew the cases, because we have plethora of cases before the courts, 10,000s of cases across the courts, from High Court to the Supreme Court, and you picked just about 5 or 6 cases which are concerned and related to party-related people, then it gives you a cause of worry. Fast forward to the prosecution of people within the NPP administration, including the matter that is before us, Chairman Wontumi. The political party as New Patriotic Party have supported government in making sure that they go about their prosecution. Where we've had challenges has to do with arrest of people and trying to use bail as a condition, to punitive sanction against people and so on and so forth. But once the cases are before courts, we are fully aligned for the courts to make their determination. In the case of Chairman Wontumi, the court sat over a period of time, a lot of evidence were adduced, witnesses were called, and then yesterday or 2 days ago, the court came up with its judgment, convicting him on all the counts that have been leveled against Chairman Wontumi. As a caucus, we have some fundamental questions we've asked. We've said that, yes, this is a court of first instance, and the court can come up with its determination. As lawyers, as a caucus, we can pass commentary on our position on the judgment that is before us. Our first historical issue we want to bring to the fore is that we've been there before when Chachuchi Kata was being prosecuted, and then it came to the point of judgment. Chachuchi Kata said his lawyer was indisposed, and so he wanted a postponement of the judgment. He wanted the court to wait for his counsel to be in so that there could be some engagement with the court on matters of law. The court denied Chikata that choice and then went on to pass judgment. In this country, a lot of issues were raised concerning that position that was taken by the judge, and a lot of criticisms came. Similarly, in the case of Wontumi, Wuntumi's counsel, Atachia, had raised some issues and was indisposed out of the jurisdiction on other matters. And this was brought to the attention of the judge. The judge ignored all the arguments around it and went on to pass judgment. Now, I want to come with a position that as a country and as a people, do we want to be consistent with the issues that we raise concerning how our judiciary has been attending to matters of this nature? If we think that that aspect of denying counsel of choice, like we saw in the case of Chachuchi Kata, as we see in the case of Wontumi, is a practice that we want to continue, then that should be our position. As a lawyer, if I go and I'm representing a client, and we do this all the time, if for any reason lawyer is indisposed and notice has been given to the judge, as a matter of courtesy amongst the court, the judge would make some further determinations and say that, okay, then let's adjourn to a particular time for it.
The court, is the court or the judge bound by...
No, they are not bound. That's why I said as a matter of courtesy. It's a practice of court.
So as a matter of courtesy,
and practice of court,
is it unusual for a judge or the court to dismiss?
Yeah, it's very unusual. Unless the judge is not convinced. You see, you should have the lawyer consistently absenting himself for flimsy reasons. Then the court will say, I see this as a regular practice, and so I'm not going to countenance it anymore.
The lawyer, Atachia, cited the daughter's graduation. Graduations within an academic calendar year are situated and well posted to the notice of all stakeholders concerned, i.e. the graduating students, the faculty, and then also the stakeholder community of that graduating student, being the family, friends, and other assigns. So it's not as if it's a force majeure or something of the sort.
No. That's why I said this is a matter of the court looking at the attendance of counsel and whether within the subject
matter is the excuse being given for which the court has been noticed.
In fact, a lawyer having another matter or having even delay in traffic that is not
good enough.
It's good enough to the extent that as a matter of presence, the lawyer has not shown discourtesy to the court on a regular basis, but that's just on the minor side. But it's just for us to know that the presence of counsel when it comes to these matters are very crucial for us as practitioners. And so if the judge found it even as flimsy, all that the judge would do is that, okay, this is the first time such notice has come to my attention. I don't think this is too strong a reason why I cannot. So I'm going to give a very short adjournment and ask counsel to appear before me, and then I'll go ahead with my judgment. We do this all the time. But this is just to situate it that we found it as a practice in the case of Chachuchikata. We are seeing it today in the matter of Chairman Wuntumi. And I'm saying that we shouldn't use these big political interested cases to set certain precedents that are
But you accepted that of Chachuchikata?
Oh, of course. That is why I'm saying, if you say me as a person, you've never had my...
No, I'm not talking you as a person. I'm talking about the generality.
Yes, arguments were made for and against it. Like you are trying to find out whether it is enough a reason for a court to... Okay. Now, the next bit, which is now on the
Please, you have 2
critical
minutes.
issue. That's fine. Why would the judge go and determine a matter that has been referred to Supreme Court for determination?
What matter was referred for the purposes of public education? What matter was referred in this ongoing trial for which the judgment has been given to the Supreme Court for interpretation, then so that the defense counsel could come back to the court, so to speak?
Yeah, so in the matter of the court, in the matter of practice, there was an issue that bordered on interpretation under Article 130 of our Constitution. Any matter that is referred as a constitutional matter for interpretation is supposed to be at the purview of the Supreme Court to determine. Now, the judge, relying on the Republic versus Mankankan, which he said that where there is a clear and unambiguous issue for determination, he can go ahead and make that determination. So that is his basis for refusing to refer the matter to the Supreme Court. But we are saying, and we know that as practitioners, and tried in the case of the Republic versus High Court, General Jurisdiction, ex parte Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rawlings, when the High Court judge was faced with such a genuine dispute over the meaning of Article 94, the Supreme Court held that the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction in interpretation. And we are seeing this as a matter of practice.
But the judge also cited that in the judgment, that irrespective of expertise and network.
Exactly, and that is why we are counsels, and we always agree or disagree. But we are saying that when matters come for judicial interpretation, and this is a matter that will go for appeal, and I'm sure that counsels are going to raise this matter. So on the table for education of clients, so that in future when it goes to appeal and it's successful, people don't think that it has been successful because another group of people just made that matter out of nothing. So in conclusion, from our minority point of view, we are saying that yes, the judge, we are not going to criticize him and his person for making that determination. It is within his domain to do that. We have only indicated areas where we disagree, and I believe that councils will raise the issue up at the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal for determination. And then what we are saying in conclusion is that government commitment to this fight against Galamsey shouldn't begin and end with Chairman Wontumi. Because there are already referrals concerning Yamin and then Yakubu Abanga, which was sent to Yoko about a year ago. As we speak now, there's been no reports. Look at the way Yoko has been active, even arresting people that they have not charged and the rest. Now, matters have been referred to them by the AG himself. And almost a year now, there's been no
So let me ask you, and I just need a one-sentence answer. So, in total, you're not against the position of the judge in the judgment?
No, not in making his judgment.
I mean, within the remit of the law?
No, not at all. Because we have a right of appeal if you are dissatisfied with the decision. Yes.
I mean, all of us, with the exception of him, the lawyer. So with me, he seemed to agree with Zato as well, that the ferocious enthusiasm with which government is going after Wontumi or has been after Wontumi, etc. That same enthusiasm and zeal should be attacked to other aligned persons of the NDC and the government as well. And so, by your own observation, General.
Yes, but it is important that we clear certain initial statement that was made by my senior MP for Efia, and then to straighten the matters. First of all, he greeted Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. It is on that score that I want to admonish him once again to remind Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that there will be a budget review tomorrow. So the same alacrity with which he addressed the nation on the tribunal bill, he must do this country the greatest honors by also speaking to the budget. Again, the tribunal bill that he touched on, I don't know why he decided to do that. Because I hold in my hand the committee report, and that committee report consists of members of the MPP who are on that committee. That's the Legal, Constitutional, and Judiciary Committee of Parliament. You have 5 members on it. They have Anibedwa MP for Asante Achim Central, Tampuli Alasan, Wishegu.
All of them are part of the committee?
Asante Boati, Asante Achim, the Jasu area. You have Obri Yeboah, and another person on that committee. And this is their conclusion. The committee unanimously recommends that the Honorable House adopts this report and passes the Tribunal Bill 2026 in accordance with the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So at the committee level, those mandated by the party to stand in their stead and do the deliberations agreed that everything in the bill was right. So I'm very surprised that today we are being given a different rendition of that matter.
You're surprised. So let me just quickly introduce lawyer Abdul Fattah Al-Hassan, MP for Yendi. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
You got caught up in the traffic, but I'll just let thank you for your presence.
So, and again, at the floor of Parliament, what I heard their minority leader say was that out of the 59 clauses that are contained in the bill, they only had an issue with clause 4. Am I right? Yes. So when you go to the clause 4 of the bill, this is what it says: establishment of the tribunal system. In furtherance of clause 2 of Article 125, clause 1 of Article 126, and Article 142 of the Constitution, there is established by this act the tribunal system, which consists of a regional tribunal and a district tribunal. Now you go to Article 125 and 126 and 142, I see no reason why our brothers must, at this stage, be taking all of us on a roller coaster. So that issue must be put in the burner. If there are a few of the provisions in the bill that we must take a second look at. That one we agree. But to lump all in one and say that the tribunal bill is not good, I think that it is pure politics, and that is why he's here. Now you come back to the issue of Wontumi. You see, there is a favorite quotation in the Bible that I keep quoting.
Favorite one?
And this
is it one I'm familiar with?
You must be familiar because if you've been going to Sunday school like I used to, you go to Matthew 5:25.
Matthew
5:25.
Matthew 5:25. 25.
Yes.
Matthew 5:25.
Yes.
Okay. Can I go ahead? Settle matters quickly with your adversary.
Yes.
Who is taking you to court.
Yes.
Do it while you are still together on the way.
Yes.
And it continues. Or your adversary may hand you over to the judge.
Yes. And
the judge may hand you over to the officer.
Yes.
And it concludes. And you may be thrown into prison.
Absolutely.
What has the Bible got to do with the law?
So the Bible admonishes us to settle whatever differences we have with our adversaries. If you commit a crime, you do very well to purge yourself so that you are not handed to the judge for the judge to determine your fate and throw you to jail or prison.
So I don't understand. What
now,
has that got to do with
in this whole case, the PW1 and the PW2, they took a cue from this Bible quotation, Matthew 5:25.
That will be Henry
Okum and Michael Jedu or Ayisi or so.
Michael Ayisi.
We are told, and indeed the judgment confirms it, that when they realized that they had committed an offense, what did they do? They entered into a plea bargain. And to enter into a plea bargain, what did they do? They served as prosecution witness to the state because they knew they had committed. So they were purging themselves under what? Matthew 5:21. They were settling their adversaries before they are thrown into jail. I have gone through this 59-page judgment, and I dare say that the judge was spot on. Whichever way you look at it. In fact, it will be extremely difficult, unless a pardon, for any judge worth the salt to overturn this judgment. And it's the reason why, listening to my brother MP, he could not help but to agree to the judgment.
I'm not sure in total.
No, he agreed.
He says in law, the judge may have a position, and that's in the judgment.
So,
but on grounds of appeal, is that not what he said?
You see, Wontumi has been misbehaving since 2011 in this country. This country, we are not truthful to ourselves. In fact, in 2013...
just relax. You know, this is a very platform.
All right.
If words like misbehaving...
Okay. But I will prove. I'll back it with evidence. I will not just...
So you shouldn't use words like misbehaving. So what synonym should he use?
You give me that, I'll continue to
No, you can.
Now, maybe professor.
Yes, misbehaving. Which synonym will be acceptable to you for the platform?
Wontumi has been stubborn since 2011. See, in 2013, the task force in this country decided to go and raid a mining site in the same Samraboy area. When they went there, they seized certain excavators as well as gold here and there. Now, Wontumi was bold enough to sue the state. In fact, he sued the Chief of Defense Staff, he sued the IGP, and he sued the DC for the Abenfi West area that they had entered his site illegally. They had, as it were, entered his privacy.
He did?
He did. He took them to the secondary court. Now, when he went to court, his view or his position was that he was not engaged in any illegal mining and that he had a license to do what he was doing. When we checked the license was for prospecting and not for gold mining. Meanwhile, if you went to that site, they had more than 20 excavators with more Chinese. I don't know, that was sort of a prospecting that called for the numbers of Chinese galamseyers that were there. Now, in the final analysis, the case was determined in 2019. The judge found out that Wontumi was wrong.
2019?
Yes, that indeed he was engaging in an illegality, contrary to the prospecting that he was telling the entire world. So I thought that if it were a serious state, right from there, the state should have taken it up. When it was identified, when it was determined that Wontumi was engaging himself in an illegal
What's
mine.
the point of raising these? That he has a history?
He has a history. He has a history. Now again, the same Western region. And I hold here, Samatex. You know where he is the same place.
The Timber Law Company?
The Timber Law Company. They also took Wontumi to court in 2022 for him trespassing onto their land. Now, when they went to court, once again, Samatex won the case. The court determined that indeed Wontumi has trespassed onto their land. Samatex. All these things happen. Now, you see, you take a critical look at the judgment. What was the bone of contention? Wontumi was given a concession. Then he decided to give that concession to another person. Now, when he was asked, Wontumi said, oh, he only asked the person to go and plant or grow coconut on it, on the portion that he had destroyed, so that when the coconut grows, he will use the proceeds from the coconut.
So not destroy, mined.
Mined. Destroy the portion. That's what they use.
No, it's mined.
Mined. The guy had mined.
So you had, according to the judgment, for reclamation.
For reclamation. And that when he was asked, Wontumi said, you only gave him specific instruction that just go there and reclaim the land. So thankfully, Wontumi himself brought an expert called PW1. What's the name? I said one Gomashi.
Wisdom.
The
engineer, the mining engineer.
Engineer. Yeah. You see, when you are going to court and you are choosing witnesses, be careful because they may push you fast.
No, but he's an expert on this.
What is it?
He's known publicly.
He dealt a big blow to Wontumi because he was asked a simple question: when you are reclaiming a land, does it cost money? He said yes. Now, Wontumi, this is why the circumstantial evidence that people have been talking about comes in. That was logic. And when I read the judgment, I realized that, the woman, Audrey Kokovete, is spot on. Her logic, the thinking is apt.
The judge?
The judge. She was able to determine that indeed you couldn't have told the guy to only go and then reclaim the land without giving the guy money. Now, the license, the second prosecution witness had told everyone that he is a minor and that the license that he holds allows him to do what? Small-scale mining. Is that not the case? The guy did not have mine support license that would have enabled him to do what you are saying, but rather a small-scale mining. So, on what basis would the guy have conducted the reclamation that Wontumi was talking about? It means he was only trying to throw in some words to confuse all of us. Now, it came to light that after giving or handing over the site to the gentleman, you yourself led him to a place to go and acquire excavators to go and do the mine. And just like Okum said, he said he was going to do the reclamation from the process that he will make from what? Mining the unmined portion.
So wait, they'll use the process to do what?
To reclaim. You know, the reclamation, it has been established that you need money to do the reclamation. Wontumi did not give the guy any money to do the reclamation. So the reasonable deduction that you can infer from this scenario is that the guy would have to mine and the proceeds from the mine
the concession
or the concession would be used to reclaim the land. That was the establishment of that.
Is it also possible that as a businessman, the man could go for a loan to come and do that?
Who would do that? Mining is expensive enterprise.
No, but he was not.
So under the judgment, there is nothing.
No, but I'm saying that's possible to, right?
Well, it didn't arrive. I see as well.
I'm not saying they arrived, but that's possible.
Yeah, it could be. But the point is that it was established that indeed Wontumi transferred the land to Okum to mine and then to make money from it. Then it goes to the section 14.1 of the Minerals Act 703. So that if you have it here, you could read for people to understand where the judge came from and whether or not her judgment will stand the test of time. And that is why I'm saying that a lot of the people that are speaking, some of them have not even read the judgment. I'm very happy my senior has read it and I see the judgment here. He has gone through it. It is the reason that he could not punch a lot of holes into the judgment. But a party like the New Patriotic Party 3 hours after judgment that they had not seen, the entire judgment started making what? Doing what? Press conference. A lot of them are happy in there. I know them, they are friends. They will not come out to come and say.
A lot of them are happy.
They are so happy.
We have the General Secretary raising key questions.
But you see, in the last days...
your comments spurious?
No, but in the last days, the last time Wontumi went out, his last rendition, he was in Asante Achim Central. What was he saying? He was accusing the General Secretary of being envious of him. And that the General Secretary was plotting with Bute, together with Afoko, to make sure he does not win. These were his last words.
I don't understand. You say he said this words against the General Secretary.
Absolutely.
The General Secretary is not defending him.
Yeah, so it couldn't be true. It couldn't be.
So 14, you said 14 what?
14 what? Please, let's read that.
A mineral right shall not in whole or in part be transferred, assigned, mortgaged, or otherwise encumbered. Or dealt in a manner without the prior approval in writing of the minister.
Absolutely.
Which approval shall not be unreasonably withheld or given subject to unreasonable conditions.
My goodness. So
was this raising the judgment as well?
It was raising that. And this is one of the bases for which reason he finds himself in Isawem. And you see, wouldn't that have been easier for Wontumi?
You have 2.5 minutes. Please
to have contacted the then Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to authorize this transaction? He wouldn't, because arrogance of power. At that time, he himself was fighting with the current minister, with the former Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Abu Jinapo. It's the reason why on the 30th of September, the Lands and Natural Resources released a statement. 2022. Yes. That exposed Wontumi. Arrogance of power. He felt that, look, I had the backing of the president. Remember, as far back as of the 4th of January 2023, President Kufuor unprovoked met the Catholic Bishop Diocese on their 16th biennial conference or so and said, unprovoked, nobody had asked him anything, that Akonta mining was not involved in any illegal mining. Now let me deal with an aspect of...
but the court didn't say that he...
I'm coming there, that's why I'm coming. So if you are taking your time...
No, it's not about coming.
It is not true that the court did not cite Wontumi for engaging in illegal mining. And I'm reading a portion of the sentence for you to hear. You together with all those in the MPP that have not read the judgment and be running to town with... So this is the sentencing. And it is in page 57, contained in 57 and 58. The court takes notice of the gravity of the offenses and the need for deterrence to avert the environmental disaster that might befall the nation. The more law enforcement stays aloof and allows illegal mining activities to persist in the country. The offenses in this case relate to illegal exploitation of mineral resources, which are the property of the state. The conduct of the first and third accused persons undermines the regulatory framework for the mining sector and contributes, listen here carefully, contributes to the environmental degradation associated with illegal mining.
So
what interpretation do you put on this? That is it. Look, you can. No, what is interpretation? The judge was spot on. No, what is threat? No, you did the to run away.
Come on. The judge said what? Relating the fact that the activity please relates to illegal exploitation of mineral resources. This activity, based on the actions of the first and third accused, undermines the regulatory framework.
Yes.
So we're talking, and that is exactly what is being charged. No. His statement that he was directly involved in illegal mining, which is galamsey.
You are running away. Why was
Solo end for me.
Why was PW1 and PW2 arrested? The Okum and Michael, why were they arrested?
But they are different from...
No. I don't get it. They were involved in an illegal mining. First of all, when the task force went to the forest, they did not know that people were committing crime over there. They just did a soup. When they went, they realized that people were doing illegal mining there. They were just doing mining anyhow. It is the reason why they were arrested. And when they were arrested, it was then that they came to expose to us that, look, this concession was given to us by Chairman Wontumi. So you cannot say that this judgment has had nothing to do with illegal mining. But I will end it by saying that, you see...
No, nobody said it has nothing to do with
look, you have nothing to say. Let me advise those who want to be emotional this morning. And then from the movement, from the UP's perspective,
people are emotive.
A few of them do.
Let me tell you, that concerns A key figure.
It's not a key figure. If it was that key figure, when he was going to court, a chairman of the Ashanti region, the stronghold of the MPP, how many people did you see following him in court? Who to me is the chairman. I was going to court. I was only bloggers. Quote me anywhere. Now the very lawyers who are now ranting, at a point who to me was struggling to even get a lawyer. Nobody went to his aid.
No, but there was a Kubi.
Oh, so you don't want to hear. No, you can't hear. And so what I'm saying is that your emotions, put it aside. We have been told by Professor Sampede and Dr. Amwa that currently we have close to 4 million Ghanaians suffering from kidney problems. Now, to treat any kidney problem, you need close to 300,000
It's not in the judgment.
No, I'm telling you why you must take this judgment very serious. Now, if you have 4 million Ghanaians whose lives have been destroyed by the activities of illegal miners, then you cannot downplay. But I will end it by saying that Wontumi saw the light in his last day. Bring him, the video, bring him. He saw the light.
Which of the videos?
He parted away with the MPP. When he was going to court, he was wearing the yellow. He saw that the United Party is the only truthful party in this country. Having seen what the people of the new
you mean on the last day he was disassociating himself?
He was communicating. He was no,
he's
but
a bona fide
no. He went to the tailor and I told him to put on or to design a very nice Mami Yellow, Yupi. That's what he said.
All right.
So on that occasion, I will go to Insawam and visit him for showing support to the night. I'll go next week. I'll go and visit him. I'll go and visit him.
Please do this in 4 minutes for us quickly so that we go to the subsequent issues and then we'll try and wrap up.
There is a subsidiary.
Roland, thanks so much, and then good morning to everyone. Well, let me start by saying that at least we are getting somewhere with the fight against Galamsey. We are getting somewhere with the fight.
But the accusation is that Wontumi is a political prisoner. It presupposes and infers that he's being targeted, and by inference, this is political persecution.
Roland, the MPP has always told us that, when you arrest somebody or when the security people picks up somebody, they say, and then they keep the person beyond, say, 48 hours. You see them everywhere. Take the person to court. Why not taking the person to court? Now the person has been put before court. The court has gone through its processes and it has made its determination. Now they are coming back to attack the court, attack the judge, and attack everything that happened in court. So I don't know whether they are saying that as far as their members are concerned, there should be no criminal investigation, any investigation into their activities.
They haven't said that. I don't think that's part of it.
So which part of the criminal processes have they not criticized? The arrest, Iyoko detention.
In this instance case.
Yes.
And a string of a number of investigations being
But so the judgment is there. Now the judgment, if you read the judgment, it will be very difficult for anybody to attack any portion of this judgment. In fact, sometimes you read the judgment.
Are you sure?
Look, if you look at the judgment that Apia Kubi put forth, in certain areas, you were wondering whether he was actually in control of this case. Because you see, for instance, how do you tell me?
You mean the defensive?
Exactly. How do you tell me that if a provision says that assignment, mortgage, transfer, that when that is said to be a crime, and that is done without written document, that it doesn't amount to assignment? And so, for instance, if I tell you that when you assign your lease, if you transfer your lease, if you mortgage your lease, without the prior approval of the minister in charge of the sector, you are engaged in an illegality. And you come to court and say that...
Section 99 is amended?
Yes. And you come to court to say that because that transfer, that assignment, indeed you have agreed that there was an assignment. You are not in dispute about that. But your argument is that that assignment was not backed by any written document. Hold on. Are we looking at form or substance? In law, we have always said that the court would always consider substance over form. So if indeed there was a transfer, illegal transfer, whether it was written or not, it doesn't matter. Once you have admitted that there was a transfer, and you are now in court telling everybody that you transferred, he does only reclamation and not do the mining. Now he comes to court. The very person he transferred it to comes to court to tell the court that, I was asked to do two things. Do mining in the unmined area and then do what we call the reclamation. in the area that has been destroyed. And how do I do the reclamation? I'll plant trees and that was where the issue that's also raised that, okay, if you say you engage him only to do the reclamation, what was the arrangement in terms of the cost that will be borne by him? Because reclamation comes at a cost. How was he to be paid? And you see, in legal matters, in everything in court, we have two forms of evidence, direct or circumstantial. And I saw Apia Kubi hinging almost everything in court on direct evidence. And that while there was no direct evidence, then there was no evidence. Is that how a lawyer should think? In many instances, in fact, in criminal matters, 99% of the time, you don't have direct evidence. It is very difficult to come out with direct evidence. It is only in civil matters that somehow you find a big quantum of direct evidence. But in criminal matters, because criminal matters are done in the dark. And so chances are you can't spot the person. You can't see the person at the time he's doing the crime. So you look at the matters, the surrounding circumstances, and infer from the surrounding circumstances. And the law...
So the minority's concerns, you're just dismissing...
Very, very unfounded. And you see, if you say the judgment is defective, the best process is the appeal.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so you go on appeal.
Well, they say they have good grounds of appeal.
Let's see how it goes. That is why, because your grounds of appeal should be based on the judgment. And I don't see where you come, because almost all the issues you are raising...
You read the judgment
you are saying the oral assignment is not assignment. Who told you oral assignment is not assignment? Then what do we mean by oral contract? In contract law, if you say the contract, we don't have contracts only in written forms. We have contracts also in oral form. And so if there was oral assignment, oral transfer, oral mortgage, it is as good as a written assignment. And so you cannot run away from it. This only sends us one message, that when we are strong, when we are politically charged, when our party is in power, let's not seem to be sidestepping processes. Let's respect due processes of the law.
But you're doing worse now, and that's how
yeah.
we should
So one of the issues that lawyer Boama as well as Dr. Zato raises that you seem to be treading like a tortoise when it comes to how you are going to use the law to deal with your own who flout regulations concerning illegal mining, and then even the Minerals and Mining Act.
So I don't see how.
So
if I give
there's Yamin, there's
but the Yamin one. Remember
the thing is that you see there has been a lot of such allegations.
MCs or DCs cited. There's an MP who has
an investigation. Let me tell you one thing. Their former health minister.
Who?
He's been under investigation since when?
For the vaccines, yes.
Since we came to power.
That has been known, yes.
Has he been charged?
I don't understand.
So, yes. So, if investigations are going on, why? Because your man has been prosecuted, everybody who is at the investigation, there has to be a conclusion of the investigation.
But also, the recommendation by the Attorney General, the referral, included the report of Professor Febo Boatin.
Exactly. Who was also exonerated?
We must go into it, so we must box it together. Because Professor Febo Boatin's report...
The mere fact that there's an allegation, the mere fact that there's an allegation does not mean that the person is guilty. Once the investigators do their investigation and they come to a contrary conclusion, or they come with the conclusion that the person is not... that there's no enough evidence to go ahead with the prosecution, so be it. It doesn't matter who is involved.
So you see,
and I am telling you...
Comes in just a minute. I'm coming from the Western region.
Which part of the Western region? Your area, is there illegal?
No, we don't even have anything for them to come in. But I'm in Fee area where I drive to. My brother, it is terrible.
No, we're not saying that is not going on.
Hold it. The issue about illegal mining and its consequence on the Ghanaian city is daring. It is worse and bad as we speak. And we are not seeing that commitment. So this won't to me matter. It's fine. We can deal with the legal issues. But I'm saying that the government has done very little and has been supporting, or his actions are supporting illegality in the mining business.
That is not true. If you look at all the processes, in fact, recently they were fighting. The tribunal bill was also intended to even...
tribunal bill and then solve the galamsey problem.
Would you say, now, post this judgment, of course there are processes of appeal and it will be filed, etc. Do you think, in this matter of illegal mining, and you even citing the approach by government and the less enthusiasm based on your own assessment, also cited by a number of individuals right here, You think that the government, because of its position currently and the way it's fighting illegal mining, perhaps doesn't have that the government perhaps also doesn't have that right, so to speak, to then be calling the kettle black, so to speak.
Well, you've put it beautifully, so I accept that.
Or cannot live in a glass house and be throwing stones.
Another wonderful thing. I'm happy that you've said that too. So all that apply perfectly here. But
it's a good question.
No, I agree. That's what I'm agreeing that all those affect. But this is the biggest, this is the main issue. You see, fundamentally, Hansel made a point. And that point is still here. If you are His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, you stand publicly, look Ghanaians in the eyes and tell them, some of my own appointees are engaged in galamsey.
The President said that?
Yes. You are bold enough to tell us that, but then you cannot name them. Why not?
It's not entirely true.
Why can't you name them?
Don't.
No, the president did not say that.
Said, he said he doesn't rule out the fact that. You see?
Okay, good.
Yes.
You don't rule out the fact.
Right, so
now,
yes.
Please allow him to make his point, so that when your time comes,
the president is the commander-in-chief.
Dr. Zato?
Is the commander-in-chief of the
go
Ghana
ahead.
Forces. All the security and intelligence agencies in this country report to His Excellency the President. The EBNI, NIB, name them. They all report to him. Whatever information His Excellency wants to get today, he can get it today. So even if it is a suspicion,
was it the same
even if you suspected it, the president could have gone ahead to identify. At least it is internationally acceptable to name and shame people, especially if those people are engaged in what an existential crisis. It's perfectly acceptable. So why are they not naming and shaming them? Chairman Wontumi has been convicted, but since the president has been in power for 1.5 years, 1 year, 8 months, nobody, if you speak to anybody, nobody in civil society, independent media houses will tell you that we have started winning the war against galamsey. So the record of the government on galamsey is what? Pathetic and woeful. They are not winning it. And so it's when you look at it and you see that they were looking for a sacrificial lamb. You are quoting the Bible. Quote the part about a sacrificial lamb that Wontumi has been fed, or is being fed to the base of the NDC, and also fed to the CSO to kind of demonstrate a false sense that the government is doing something on galamsey. You mentioned the Akufo-Addo's meeting with the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference. That's true. But you failed to mention His Excellency President Mohammed's meeting with the same Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference. What did they tell him?
No, what did
they said time to act is now. Delay is no. Declare state of emergency now. They told him that. Okay. He listened to them. So we are saying that if you look at this mountain of hypocrisy, if you look at this mountain of that, once it is a member of an opposition political party, we are going to go all out to get a pound of flesh. But if it's one of our members, we will obfuscate, we will confiscate, we will conflate, we will delay as much as possible. And the point I'm saying is that once you do that, it doesn't show any true sense that you really believe in the values and the principles you are standing for.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'm sorry I have to end here. We have apparently an emergency content we have to put together. So I didn't communicate that earlier. But if I can just get 1 minute to wrap up from you.
Okay, Roland, first I just want to say that it's not entirely true that the president today has not done anything involving which has to do with members of the party, the governing party. In fact, it was the same president. Now you see Yamin and Abanga. It was the same president who, when he got that information, instructed Yoko. He wrote and asked Yoko to open investigation into that matter. Tell us, in your entire 8 years, when galamsey was at the highest level, who was referred by Nanado? Who knew at the time, under his presidency, that galamsey was going on? Who did he ever refer to Yoko for any investigation? So there's some work being done, and the work is being done without let or hindrance.
So it's called token. In 30 seconds, this is rhetoric. That statement that the president is committed is rhetoric because the substance that we see on the field doesn't commiserate with the statement. The issue of galamsey and the effect of illegal mining is worse. Don't even compare it at the time you took off. as we speak today, 1.5 years since the coming to being of the NDC, it is worse. If you don't face it, if you don't face it, if you don't face it to fix it, if you don't face it to fix it, we as the Ghanaian people will live to suffer. The mandate is in the hands of the president. The past is behind us. The present is before us. The president should act and act decisively to save Ghana
so far,
today
the record has been woeful and pathetic.
So I still don't get the point here.
Of course, you won't get it.
We all agree that Galamsey is an existential threat.
Do you?
A kingpin has been identified and has been imprisoned. And you have the same people that believe that it's an existential threat call, that they are going on appeal so that they will overturn that decision to free the person. Is that not what we are discussing here? The 4 million people that have contracted kidney diseases includes UP members, NDC members, NPP members, and every political actor in this country. So diseases associated with illegal mining has no colorization. And I don't see why we must politicize it. And it's the reason why we would urge Yoko to fast-track that investigation. Remember, that investigation also called for Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, those that were captured in there, to be investigated. Again, the Formina area, those that are engaging themselves in Galamsey, they must be brought to book, the Lake Busumtwi area, and so on. But just to end, there has been a judgment in the U.S. claiming that Ken Ofori-Atta has been granted a green card. Let me say that the judge that sat on the case or the matter is an old boy. They all went to Yale University. So they are Yalis. They are Yalis. Oh, it's a friendly. It has nothing to do with law. This is a corrupt procured judgment. That judge will not. He has been at the bar for only 3 years. It's a corrupt procured judgment. So don't even fantasize yourself. It's a corrupt procured judgment.
Whether you are aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing communication, operation supply human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, as well as all others. They make it flexible for you to be able to pay your school fees in installment and also go to school based on the category of the curricula that they have. And so you can reach them now on the number. Okay, so Seth Eya says 9 forests so far rate of Galamsey. That's an achievement. So read them on the number 026-388-8555. Thank you, gentlemen. We're taking a break. We'll be right back. That Kameni Nyamani Amano had with the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Sremsai. Please, it's up next.
Thank you for sitting down with us. Let's start off with the Chairman Wontumi case. We'll consider it a success for, the state in the judgments that it got in the Summer Boy case. But the reactions have been varied, and particularly from the minority side, they call it a political persecution of the Ashanti Regional Chair. How does that come to you?
That cannot be an accurate description of what happened. I mean, this is a case which has been tried fairly with a lot of the discretion during the trial exercised in favor of the accused person. So let me give you one example. The accused person filed his witness statement a piece, and when I say a piece, I mean he files, the rule is that you file all your witness statements, you disclose all your witness list, and file all your witness statements. Then we conduct what we call case management conference in respect of all the witness statements before we start calling the witnesses and then speaking. But what the strategy this accused person and his legal team did was to file one witness statement, and then we conduct case management conference on it. We finish cross-examining. Then they filed the next. That is what they did for all the witnesses that they called. In fact, in respect of one of the witnesses, they filed their witness statement. We did CMC on it. We started cross-examining the witness. Then they filed a supplementary witness statement. In the middle of cross-examination, they filed a new additional witness statement for the same witness. So the trial actually truncated. And the judge, normally a judge should not even accept that kind of, but the judge accepted it and allowed us to have a case management conference for that supplementary witness statement for us to now start our cross-examination again. We all saw the manner in which they even ended the case. A lawyer tried the case, participated in the trial fully. A date has been given for him to file his address. A few days to the deadline for filing the address, they applied to court saying that the lawyer doesn't want to, the client doesn't want the lawyer to represent him again. He did not give any reason why the representation will not continue. He just said that he wants to exercise his right to counsel of his choice. And because of that, we also what happened. The trial, the judgment delayed, and the new lawyer had to be given additional time. Then this additional time expired just at the tail end of the judgment. They filed 2 processes asking the court to refer some matters to the Supreme Court and to postpone the judgment again. Thankfully, we opposed everything that they filed, and then the judgment was given yesterday. Now the question is, if this is a political persecution, and they believe strong, that means that you believe strongly that you are innocent, right? If you are innocent, the manner in which you even conducted yourself to the latter end is as if you knew that you didn't have a defense. And I don't know if you have had the opportunity to read the judgment, but most of the evidence that we have, the pieces of evidence that we have, which the judge relied on, came from their defense. Defense witnesses, the accused person's own comments, his own witness statement, his own police statement. Those were the materials that formed the basis for the conclusion of the judgment. So it will be shocking. It is shocking to me, but that they would say is political persecution. But I understand what we do. This is politics in a way. I mean, what they are doing is politics, and they issued that statement, or they had a press conference when they have not even seen. They had not seen the judgment. So do you expect them, now that they've seen the judgment, they will go back and say what we said was wrong? They would never do that. They would rather double down and say things. But so far, I don't think anyone has pointed to any aspect of the judgment that they believe strongly that is so erroneous.
What we have heard them say around the case itself, and perhaps you throw a bit more light on it when you say that the judgment relied on defense statements and the accused's own testimonies as well. Could that be the reason they say that from the get-go, the state didn't have a case against Shema Wontumi?
No. You see, the fact that you relied on defense, lawyers will say the best evidence is evidence which is from your adversary. If you accuse someone of stealing and the person comes to say, indeed, I stole, that is the best form of evidence. So that cannot be the basis for their saying that it's political persecution. It shows that they knew that they have done something, or they did something wrong, or they breached the law. And indeed, look, the law says 2 counts, okay? One is about allowing someone else to mine on a concession without the minister's approval. The other one is saying that you conducted some activities in a mining concession without, without also basically authorization, right? The only thing that the defense or the accused person has said in all this is that, first of all, he admitted that he indeed allowed the guy to go onto the concession. This is someone whom everyone knows is a Galamsey person. If you allow a Galamsey person, okay, to go onto your concession at a time when Galamsey was the major problem in that area, and his witnesses testified to that. His own witnesses, the former Western Regional Minister, admitted that the former Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and Honorable Mreku Duka, they all said, look, Galamsey was the most important issue that threatened national security at the time.
But he said at the time he didn't know that was what they were going to do on the land.
Yes, he said that is what that is.
And we are not going to retry the case.
No.
Just to put it into perspective.
Yeah, he said he has maintained one thing, that I sent a gentleman there to do reclamation. I did not ask him to do mining. Okay. The gentleman said, you and I knew from the one that I was going to do mining because it was reclamation. Why didn't you give me any money or anything to go and do the reclamation? The guy was going to plant coconut. So the guy drove from wherever he lives, be it Kumasi, he drove past all lands, all possible places of planting or investing into coconut plant, and decided that he would go to Samra Boy, okay, not to plant the coconut, but to reclaim the land first, plant coconut on it, and then how many years time coconut will grow for him to get profit. Even if that is business, does it make any practical sense that if you want to plant coconut, you didn't find any place in the whole of places that coconut will grow, but on a particular Galamsey site? You know, when you put all this together, I don't think you need even an adult to come to this conclusion that the story doesn't add up. But that is beside the point. A judgment has been given. We know as lawyers the way to, you know, if you believe that the judgment is wrong, you appeal or you do use other processes to correct it. That is not to say that they do not have the right to say what they are saying. They have the right to say they don't believe that the judgment was fair. They have the right to say it is political persecution. They have the right to say the accused, the prisoner is now a prisoner of politics or political prisoner. That is within their right. But as to whether it is correct, I think that's what we are discussing. And I hold a view that there's no basis for those conclusions that they are reaching.
And this person in question we are talking about, in regards to the coconut farm story, is the accused person turned prosecution witness?
Yeah, is a prosecution witness.
Okay. Could the state have done this case without those two who now became prosecution witness?
Yeah, we could. Just that it becomes easier to do it when you are having someone who is involved in the matter. Before we even, when the police arrested these guys, they had prepared a docket and they brought everything to us, and we saw merit in the docket before we took the decision to convict them. But you see, there is a policy behind the fight, the NDC's fight against Galamsey. The policy is that yes, those on the ground in the Galamsey are breaching the law, but they couldn't be there and they couldn't successfully do what they are doing without some big, rich, influential, as they call them, kingpins behind it. So you'll be wasting your time clearing the guys who are on the grounds at any particular time, because when you clear them, new ones will come, because it's a very lucrative business for them. So new ones will come. So why won't you go to the source? So that is the policy within which the policy, you know, statement that we were making.
I understand that, but the charge against Muntumi was not that he was engaged in illegal mining.
In this
facilitated.
Yeah.
In this particular
case, there are two other Galamsey cases.
Yes.
There's one on the Nimri Forest where he is involved. That the allegation is that he's involved in it. This is a different one. And let me where
he's facilitating. That's what the charge is.
Yes. Let me tell you something. From our investigations, okay, it is, and a lot of the agencies didn't discover this early, but that was the business model. It was an established business model. You go for the concession, you use your political or whatever connection, or whether you are qualified legitimately or not, you get a concession. Then, and his was a large scale mining. It wasn't a small scale mining license, that what we call lease that he had. It was for large scale mining, and that requires a lot of capital. So you go for this license, and then because you don't have the capital and you still want to make profit, the easiest way is to now open the concession up to illegal Galamsey miners to move in, and then you take rent from them. That is the business model. So I have heard a lot of people, just like you said, that he was more charged for personally engaging in legal mining. It's even a better business model if you look at the economics of it. And those involved in it know. So the big campaigns of Galamsey, they do not, some of them don't even know, they've never stepped they've never stepped on the Galamsey soil itself for themselves. But they get it and they allow the boys to go and do it, and they collect rent. That is the business model. So let's not seek to diminish the point that he wasn't charged for doing galamsey, but for facilitating. In fact, the facilitation is where the big guys come in.
Okay, I understand that, but the subject of it being the business model was not a point of focus in court, was it?
No, I mean, the court is not interested in business models.
I agree.
The court is only interested in, have you done something which breached the law? So the court is not going to listen to different business models.
Because I was going somewhere with that question.
Okay.
When I asked. The person who have now become prosecution witness was the one actually engaged in the illegal mining.
Yeah, they were the artisans. Let me put it that way.
Okay. So then I'm trying to weigh the two. That in that, this person will now get away with what they have done because they became prosecution witness.
If you say get away, that is not accurate.
Are you taking steps against them as well?
We entered what we call a non-prosecution agreement with them, and they have obligations.
Okay.
They have forfeited their excavators, their gold, everything that they had. We have taken them from them. So it's not as if we just call you, come and testify and go away. No. When we call you, every excavator involved in this, and they are running into, I think, about 70 or so excavators, gold, or metals suspected to be gold, monies, weapons, all those things have been confiscated, and some of them forfeited. So the impression should not be that we just call them, well, you come and tell us something and go. No, that is not what happened.
I don't think so. But then you can understand why people, particularly people of the opposition, will now start to draw the two pictures together and then say, look, the person who was actually involved in the illegal mining became prosecution witness, and then they went after the facilitator. In your explanation, you say, look, that is the business model that people follow. So you're going after the kingpins. But it does not leave that out of the equation, that the actual person who was the artisan on the ground is not serving jail term.
I don't think you're addressing the issues, or you have paid attention to what I've said. This is what I'm saying, that there's a business model which is designed to avoid liability. So you put all your money into the galamsey, but you have no actual physical contact with the process of actually digging the ground and pulling away sources of polluting water. But it is your company, it is your money, it is your resources that is funding that. It is your and it is not even correct to think that the fact that you are not the one digging and getting dirty means that you are not part of the galamsey. It's a whole chain of production, from financing to forming companies.
So I'm just saying, I get it. The strategy.
If I may, I don't know why it is less of, or you are making it look like it's less of an offense to sponsor than to actually be.
No, what I'm asking is why we couldn't get all two together. Because you tell me, look, we still had a case, even without turning the accused persons into prosecution witness. So if we could get that, those two accused persons still get Sherman Wooten.
They are actually not.
Why did we go for the easy route?
They're actually not true.
Okay.
They were around 30.
Right.
Some of them have already been convicted. So it's not just that we didn't go. I don't know if you read the case, you would see that there were about 28 other people who were arrested together with Jedu. Jedu is just one person that we have used to testify. The other 28 also are facing trial. So it's not as if you just said, go away and let's get. No, they are more than Jedu. Jedu is just one person. And Okum himself was also not involved in the galamsey. He was a businessman himself, but a middleman between the big guys and the artisans.
Okay. So in terms of this strategy, right? Was the outcome worse the strategy you chose to use? Was the outcome we got in the Chairman Wontumi case worse the strategy?
No, Brenda. I thought it was obvious that it's better than. The outcome far outweighs the strategy, the cost of the strategy. I don't think it's even an issue. The outcome of this strategy is several times worth more than the cost of the strategy. What's the point in putting Jedu in jail and spending a longer time having to try Untumi. When you can let Jedu go, confiscate his excavators, his gold, and get Untumi on top. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even have to think about it. It's just the obvious thing to do.
So Untumi was the target?
No, it's not as if it's the target. If you say it's the target, it's as if he was sitting somewhere and nothing was happening and went for him.
Well, but if you're going for it after a kingpin, as you described him, then he will be your target. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, going for a kingpin doesn't mean that the kingpin is the target. And all the opportunities that were open to Jedu to plea bargain were also open to Untumi. And he took advantage of the plea bargain. So it's not as if we said Untumi cannot do plea bargain, Jedu come and do plea bargain, let's get Untumi. No. Plea bargain law is available for everyone. And as you can see, he has chosen where to plea bargain. So he could have chosen this one to plea bargain. And even the one ongoing to plea bargain. So Jedu decided that I'm going to plea bargain, and he got his bargain and his reward or whatever it is. And Okum did the same thing. Untumi said he was not going to. So it's not as if, it's not a question of target. If he wasn't involved, there's no way anybody would have brought him into this case at all.
Right. Okay. I want us to talk about the accused person two, the second accused person, Kwame Nchi. There's been a lot of talk around who this person is. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so it's another way of cutting costs.
Okay.
At the time we were analyzing the docket, we were we suspected that this Kwame Nchi was not even a real human being, because we did our checks across the board. But we were looking at what is the cost of doing further investigation to conclude whether he was a real human being or not. And when he entered the box and we asked him, he couldn't provide sufficient information to show that this person actually exists. Because he was asked, I personally asked him, who is this person? And then he said, I think his answer was that he was his co-director. All attempt to get him to say other things. I think not everything went on the record, but I even remember in the courtroom, there was an issue where some other lawyers passed the judgment, is he your brother or something? But we believe, and this is not the first time, this is not the only person, even in the other one, the Exim Bank, there's another who we believe is his brother. But you see, when you are conducting investigation and trial, it's a question of cost benefit. You know, the man has told you that this person who is the second accused has never been part of the management of the company. He had left the country. In fact, the date he gave was 2021 and 2022. What we are trying the accused persons for happened from 2020, I think 2023 or 2024, 2025. So even if you go and establish that this is the person, apart from his role as a director, which he wasn't even effectively a director anyway, what else are you going to do by going further to look for him and spend money to get him? So we didn't focus on that, but clearly there was a lot of suspicion that this person may not be
real. Okay, so it means that in the cost-benefit analysis, you decided that, look, we won't spend resources on identifying who Kwame Nchi is because there is no lead.
Not that in resources in identifying, in finding him.
In finding him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Let's look at some of the things that the NPP has raised.
And let me draw attention to something. See, this Untumi case, the first witness was called on January 13th. By the end of May, we had concluded the case. We had concluded trial. Now, you need to, if you are using public resources as a prosecutor, you need to look at cost-benefit analysis. We wanted the maximum outcome with the minimum cost. So, and you don't want to spend all your resources looking for someone who will not add much to the case. So, a lot of economic analysis went into these cases. The selection of accused persons, the selection of witnesses, the number of witnesses to call. These are all, we had extensive economic analysis of this. So if you are going for this, it will cost us 10 cedis. But if you abandon him and do this other option, it will cost us 5 cedis. We have saved the country 5 more cedis and getting what the results faster. That was the analysis made. So it was easier for us to use the witness, the persons who would have been accused, as witnesses and save more time, money, and effort by making them witnesses instead of following the insisting that they accused persons and then dragging this case for years and all that. So it's a whole different strategy if you ask me.
Right. I want to look at the minority issues they have raised. They were concerned, and are still concerned, that Samuel Atachian, counsel for Chairman Wontumi, was not there on the final day of this case. They thought that was wrong.
I think that is a huge misunderstanding of the law. If that is really their position, then they have really they have a great misapprehension of what the law says, and probably of what actually happened in court. Lawyer wrote a letter that I wouldn't be available. At the time he said he won't be available, he has filed a motion, and he has filed all the necessary processes that have to be filed. And then on the day, he sends his colleague lawyers from his firm to hold his brief. And the colleague lawyers came to court. So it wasn't as if Wontumi was sentenced in the absence of a lawyer. He had, I think there were about 4 lawyers for him from Atachian's firm. So unless you are saying that without lawyer Atachian, all the members in the firm are not proper lawyers to represent, but as far as we know, they are also lawyers. And there's no rule of law which says that unless the person who filed the motion comes to move it, the court cannot decide. Otherwise, imagine. No, let's look at the other side. If that were the rule, that only the lawyer who filed the motion or the lawyer is the only person who can get a case for it, it would be simple. I will commit a crime, I will hire a lawyer and tell the lawyer to travel anytime there will be a decision, and the court would have to wait for him. That is the other. So I don't think they understand this. What they are saying doesn't exhibit a serious understanding of the law, and or they don't understand what happened in court. One of the two is what that opinion or that conclusion is suffering from.
Was prosecution aware that Atachian had written about his absence?
We didn't receive the letter before we went to court, and I don't think we were even copied. But of course, we had responded to his issues that he raised in his address. We had filed our reply. And the motion he filed, we had made up our mind that we're going to oppose it on point of law, because there was no factual dispute in this affidavit. Most of the things he said were things already on the record. And what he filed in the affidavit, in the motion, he had already raised that issue in the address, which we have responded to. So it was actually a surplusage filing another motion. But in any case, the law says that when you file a motion, even if you are not in court, if the lawyer is not in court to formally move the motion, the judge can look at the affidavits, do the analysis, and decide what happens to the motion. So there's nothing illegal or anything fishy about that. I mean, anyone who has been practicing law knows this. It's not as if it's some high-level learning.
Did Chairman Wontumi get a free and fair trial?
I believe strongly that he had a fair trial.
A fair trial.
A very fair trial. In fact, the trial was so fair in his favor that the prosecution, we felt that we were even treated a bit unfairly. And I gave you, from the beginning, I explained to you why we believe so, yeah.
Should the constitutional matter that Samuel Atachian raised in court have stalled the reading or the decision-making of the judge at any point at all?
So when you raise a constitutional question in the lower court, the Constitution says that the judge ought to first examine your issue to determine whether it's a legitimate issue. If the judge finds out that it's a real and genuine issue, then he has to stay the proceedings and make the reference. And if the judge finds out that it is not a real or genuine issue, the judge is supposed to dismiss it and proceed with the trial. And if you don't agree, then you appeal against the judge's decision. The policy reason is simple. Someone who doesn't want the trial to continue will just be raising constitutional issue today, and then you call all the 9 judges in the Supreme Court to decide, and after that he will come back and raise another one. So the rules are designed, or the principles are designed to make sure that you don't use them, we call it abuse of the court processes. And for us, that is exactly what we saw in this matter. It was an attempt to to use the court processes or court rules to delay the trial and to prevent a decision from being reached. And it was not difficult for us that the judge dismissed it. The judge saw through it because there was no real genuine issue. What they were saying was, you have pleaded guilty to a particular count. You did not raise any issue. You've gone through trial. Trial has ended. You have filed your address, which is the final act that everyone does. Then you come to say, oh, I think what I have pleaded to, I have provided witnesses to do was vague. So I want the court to, that is not to say that you cannot raise it, but when you raise it that late, chances are that you are not being genuine. And in this case, they were not genuine.
And so you must have heard that the counsel or former counsels had to describe him right now, but he told us that, look, on the last day of the trial, Chairman Wontumi called me and he says, look, if this goes south, I want you to appeal for me. So you must have heard that they are planning to go on appeal on this.
I found it strange that actually happened. And it gives me a lot of, it supports our suspicion that swap of counsel which happened between the close of case and the judgment was only designed to delay the case, because you said you don't want this lawyer again. I want Atachian to come. Then after you have been convicted, before you go to court, you reportedly had told the lawyer that you didn't want that, oh, if I'm convicted, I want you to continue to represent me. It tells me that you clearly have a design, or you had a design to delay you just did that thing to delay the process. So that itself, I find it very strange. And when I heard it, I was like, okay, it's clear to Ghanaians that this whole thing is just a drama to frustrate the cause of justice.
In the state's view, is there anything to appeal?
We don't think there's any proper basis for anyone to appeal this decision. Of course, the right to appeal is guaranteed. You can appeal, but I do not think that any appeal will succeed against this case, as I understand it.
I'm sitting down with the Deputy Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Justice Shremsai. Again, Doc, I appreciate your time with us here. I did say that when we come back, we'll look at the minorities case, that this is selective justice. Their basis for that is that the Attorney General's office had referred some cases to do with illegal mining and members of the NDC to IOCO. And it hasn't moved as fast as the Temanwu to Misamre Boy case. The question they are asking is why?
There's actually no basis for that claim. When was Chairman Wontumi arrested? Somewhere August last year. When did the Attorney General direct IOCO to do this investigation?
I think Chairman Wontumi was May of last year, and this one was July of last year.
Okay, so you see the difference, right? Actually, Chairman Wontumi's investigation started in 2021 when these minority trade people were in government. So that's like how many years now?
5.
So if it took 5 years to get into, on what basis are you saying that it didn't? This one is not going as fast as the Wontumi one? So you see some of these things when you listen to the minority sometimes and you just apply the facts, you will see that there's more of politics than any factual analysis of the situation.
But what can
many other people were arrested long before the AG gave a directive to IOCO to investigate. They've gone to BNI, they've gone to IOCO, they've gone to police, but they are not yet in court. Because investigations take time. So if you are saying that, which month did you give?
May and July.
July to July. As compared to some of them who were invited, or some of the former government officials who were invited way back in January, February 2025, and they are not yet in court and their investigations are not yet concluded. So you see, if we want to use that timeline, then it's even too early to be talking about these.
So where is the state in pursuing those cases?
Investigation is still ongoing.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, investigation is still ongoing.
That's all you can tell us.
Yes. You can't say much. You can't say much about it.
Mm.
Or you want to know the actual investigative steps?
But they're still sitting at Yoko.
No, if you say sitting, it's as if it's there and it's not moving. Investigation takes time. That's why I gave you the timeline for Wontumi. They started investigating Wontumi since 2020. If you look at the docket, since 2021. See how long it took for him to be charged, to even be arrested and be charged and brought to court January 2020. We started the trial January 2020.
What assurance can you give the Ghanaian people who are watching that, look, we are as much interested in this one as we are?
I don't even need to give further assurance. I just have to refer people to history. President Dramani Mahama had prosecuted his own appointees and they were found guilty before. That should be enough confidence to everybody that this is not a president or this is not a government who would close. The president will not, the president I know and we Ghanaians know is not the kind of president who would clear his people and be what? Prosecuting other people, other members of other political parties. He's done it before. His own appointees, he's prosecuted them, they've been found guilty and have been sentenced and have served the sentence fully. So it is not something that I think the average Ghanaian or the typical Ghanaian would be worried that President Mahama will cover up for his appointees. It is just, that's what I keep saying, that when you listen to the minority and you run what they say through the facts, you see that there is no basis for most of the things they say.
We have two other cases against him. The one in which he has a plea bargaining proposition to the Attorney General's office and another illegal mining related one as well. Let's start off with the plea deal. Where are we with that?
They made a plea proposal of what they want to offer. In our opinion, they've not satisfied us, so we intend to reject it. In fact, we have in our minds rejected it, just that we've not had a meeting with them to inform them of our rejection. So it's like any bargaining. You give, you take. So we were supposed to meet yesterday, but of course what happened yesterday couldn't allow the meeting. And we are still trying to get that meeting done before we go back to court next week.
What was brought to the table that you're rejecting?
Well, they offered to pay some amount.
How much?
No, that is, it's enough that we are still bargaining. But the plea bargaining itself is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be out there. When we finish, we announce the conclusion. But they made an offer. It's enough for the public to know that they made an offer which we found inadequate, and we're going to meet them to inform them of our rejection. And then,
without giving numbers, what would look like a proper proposition or proposal to the Attorney General's office?
I mean, for example, you ought to pay all the money with interest. I mean, otherwise, then what's the point?
We can conclude that was what was brought to the table.
Well, that is not...
We can draw that conclusion.
I don't think you can, but if you want to, that's also fine.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
A pleasure too.
Dr. Justice Shremsai is Deputy Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana. We have been looking at topical issues that have come up over the past few weeks here in this country, including the Chairman Wontumi conviction and subsequent sentencing, and a host of other issues. If you missed it, watch a playback and a fuller version of this conversation on our YouTube channel. So I'm Kamini Amano. Bye-bye.